Little motherfucker gonna try to rob me. Well, I'm gonna show you how we do it up here in Benton, you know. I wasn't trying to rob. Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in you. Now who sent you?
So what's up? We standing tall in your short stuff.
Yes.
Our lunch is the bullshit that you dressed up. Address us on scholarship, homie, knowing you messed up. So fess up, you look for the best, knowing that that's us. So what's up? We standing tall in your short stuff.
Yes.
Our lunch is the bullshit that you dressed up. Address us on scholarship, homie, knowing you messed up. So fess up, you look for the best, knowing that that's us. Sword clown, know that it's over like it's the fourth down. We the source now. Hear a big bang with tanks on ground. More than the scrimmage, yeah, we forcing the Senate, yeah, we pushing no limit. Leave the fight with no blemish. You the hometown, but you not receiving no privilege. We gon' do you bad, rape, rob, and pillage. But we nothing like the white man. I can see that you a big fan. Every time we go live, I see you in the damn stands. Watching and plotting, I see that you stalking a bit.
Yes.
You laughing at people, they seeing you taking
Here's
a
the
bit.
definition of plagiarism. The practice of taking someone else's work and continuously passing it off as
Crazy
one's
ass nigga, we the source. Yeah, we cite source. Spitting hot flames more hotter than hot sauce. For real? Chummy ass nigga.
That
Yo,
was hot. That was hot.
yo, Source Gang in the building. Source Gang in the building.
Hallelujah.
We
That
back,
was a
folks.
great intro, man. That was nice. Hallelujah.
We back.
Yeah, we back, man. We back. We got a great fight tonight. We got a great fight tonight, Jeremiah. We got the middleweight champion going against the pastor Harassa. They're gonna be arguing on the great deluge. Is the biblical narrative of the flood historical? Pastor Harassa is affirmative, and
Right,
King
that's right.
Seth is a negative. So I want to see a bloodbath tonight, man.
That's right, that's right.
Get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's about, man. Huh? Are you going home with the gold? Huh? Yo, man, shout out to my millennials, man. Check out my t-shirt, man. You gotta be a certain age to understand what this is, right? Huh? Yo, Trust Debate League, man, we back in full effect, man. We got a powerful show for y'all tonight, right? We got the middleweight champion in full effect, man. Let me tell y'all something right now. Y'all better put some respect on the middleweight champion's name, man, right? This is the only rematch in the first round of the Elimination Chamber tournament for 500 big ones. Do you have the testicular fortitude to make it to the finals and challenge Josh Shue for the heavyweight championship belt, man? And it's already official. The second place will be challenging Kyng Seth for the middleweight championship. If you lose, send that belt on back so we can get that to the rightful owner of that championship, man. Josh Shue, Scholastic Bully, Source Debate League heavyweight champion. What's good?
Hey, man. Somebody got to go home tonight, bro. Somebody getting eliminated tonight, brother. That's all I know. You know, somebody gonna be on the mat looking up at the lights. You understand? And the other brother gonna be victorious and move on to the next round. You understand? So I want to see what these brothers got, what they can bring to the table. I want to see if that brother's still worthy to hoist that belt, brother. I want to see that. Do he still got it? I want to see, do he still got it, man? Let's get it.
All right, man. So look, man, without further ado, man, we're going to get right into it, man. We got the judges in attendance, right? Josh Shue, you want to introduce the judges?
Yes, yes. So we got some good judges, man. I got to bring that out first before we even introduce them. This platform here, we're a diverse judging system, and we make sure we cut back on bias by diversifying the judges. So I want each judge, when I call your name, to explain to the panel your ideology and who you are. I'm going to start with my brother, Adam K. Introduce yourself and explain your ideology.
Wonderful to be here, Adam K. Pleasure to have the opportunity to judge. Been watching the channel, met some of the hosts here on Clubhouse, have had some engaging conversations, debates, agreements, disagreements, learning, and I'm an agnostic atheist.
All right. And then we got a brother that judged with us on the Sunday show, the brother Dunamis. Introduce yourself to the panel and give your ideology.
Hey, grace and peace, shalom, hotep. My name is Dunamis. I'm a Christian of a Pentecostal holiness background. Glad to be here. We'll see what the arguments fly.
And last but not least, my brother El Kyng. He will be judging tonight. Introduce yourself and your ideology, brother.
Shalom, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm a PK. I was raised Christian in a Baptist church. However, as I've grown and my ideology has changed, I have become non-denominational.
All right. Hey, Joshua, you wasn't joking about being diverse, was you, brother?
Not at all, brother. Not at all.
Welcome, family. Welcome to the Source Debate League, right, where champions are made, right? We actually have a champion in a debate. Joshua, the heavyweight champion, want to see if the middleweight champion still got it. Mike Tyson coming to see Floyd Mayweather, all right? Understand this, man, right? So it's about to go down, family. You want to explain the rules and the time, Joshua?
Yes, both brothers agreed to 3 rounds, 15 minutes each, with a question and answering segment, 3 questions each, 30 seconds to a minute time limit to pose the question with a 2-minute response time. The topic is the biblical narrative of the flood historical? Pastor Harassa is the affirmative, and King Seth is the negative. All right, so may the best argument win, Jeremiah.
Hey, man, may the best argument win, right? So it's about to go down, man. What's the time frames for the timekeeper? We got 3 15-minute rounds, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's go, man. Pastor Harassa, he's going first. So the time will start when you share your screen and start talking. If you don't know how to share your screen, hit the presentation button at the bottom.
Con, we sharing?
I don't see your share yet.
Let me give it a try again. Can you hear me though?
Loud and clear.
Okay, all praise. It says I'm in the show on my end, Doc.
Yeah, now you want to go down and hit presentation?
Not presentation, present. You got to hit present.
Tuada. YAHAWAH. Okay, Tuada.
All
right. Kind of Tuada.
Donata.
Salaki, I'm here.
I mean,
Okay,
I don't know
I
what you're saying, so I just spoke Spanish. Nigga, that mean you welcome, nigga. Shit.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just I don't know if I got kicked out or what happened, but I'm back. So it's 15 minutes per round, 3 rounds, correct? Brothers will be getting a 2-minute warning. So when you have 2 minutes left, you will receive a warning.
Con?
Yes, sir.
Con, YAHAWAH. YAHAWASHI. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bless you all and to all your households, and salute to my brother King Seth and to the rest of the family members that's here to learn. So my name is Isaiah YAHAWASHI, also known as Karatazaya Ban YAHAWASHI, which means God is diligent, son of Israel. So with that being said, my objective is to not only share that the actual events of Noah's Ark happened, but the evidence and proof is still there, left as a warning for the rest of the world to see what the Father did the first time. I know that we have a lot of different ideologies. I don't support a lot of ideologies. I support what's been documented in the Bible from beginning to end pertaining to Revelations, which also means that I believe that there will be a second destruction that'll happen. So my objective is to warn the people about the second destruction that happened while we present proof. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to start with insurmountable and undeniable amount of irrefutable evidence found about the great deluge. I will be calling the deluge instead of just a flood. Because floods can happen anywhere, but the deluge was a worldwide event that happened. Now, first, I want to start off by saying that not only was it a worldwide event, it was not an isolated incident to where it just happened in a local or regional area, which was something that me and the brother Seth talked about. So I'm going to start with Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. Now, the word that's in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 is the word world, right? Or earth, all right, earth. And you can see that right up in here if you can see my screen share. I put the Strong's number, which is H776, and the Hebrew characters are Ra and Tza, Arats, which means.
Yeah, you're not sharing your screen. It's just
man, that's something that should have came with practice, man. So show me, man, that's a shame.
What are you trying to do?
This time.
What are you trying to do? Do you have a PowerPoint?
Yeah, I actually have a PowerPoint set up.
Yeah, what you have to do is listen. What you have to do is when you go to present,
mm-hmm.
and when that screen pop up, you got to click on the screen that's on there, that little box. You got to click on that box. When you click on that box,
go back to
it's gonna highlight the share.
Go back to presentation. I mean,
no, not presentation. Present.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Y'all, everybody, stop. Y'all gonna confuse them. Click stop stream first.
Sure.
Stop stream. Now click present again.
Come on. Share
screen. Click the
click the box. You got to click the box first. You got the screen that you see us in.
Mm-hmm.
That's on that little box screen. It's a box within a box, and you see us on it. You got to click it.
You confusing them. Click share screen, brother.
All right.
But he got to click the box before he shares.
All right, King Seth, let Joshua do it.
When you click share screen, what does it say?
All right, Con. So when I click share screen, all right, it gives me a couple different options. It says entire screen, window, Microsoft Edge tab. Those are my three options.
Okay, so do you want to share your entire screen? If you share your entire screen, you can just click your PowerPoint.
Okay.
Right? Do you have a PowerPoint on your toolbar? You see
I do.
Yeah, so click your entire screen and just click PowerPoint.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna hit share, and it's saying share now. Oh, okay, I see what Seth was saying. So click so does that bring it up?
Yes. There it is.
Excellent. You go. All praise the Most High. So this is what I was.
You had to click the box within the box.
Right. Come. Thawada and Thawada, thank you for everybody helping me. I appreciate you all. So again, insurmountable and undeniable amount of irrefutable evidence found about the great deluge. All right. So at the top left corner, the scriptures, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, and the Hebrew letters and characters that are there are A, Ra, and Tza, which means the entire earth. It means the whole world. There's two different words that's used whenever we're looking at the world. If we look down at the bottom left corner of the screen, I have another word that's here, which is Strong's H8398. And the word that's there is Ba'alah. It's not Baal, it's Ba'alah, which means a portion of the world. So I encourage anybody that wants to look up these two different references, because I believe that any issue that we have can primarily be settled if you just look up the word in the language it was written in, which is YAHAWAH. So we're going to start with the word deluge, which I pulled up the etymology of it. And the etymology literally says late 14th century, an overflowing of water, a great flood. And within the etymology itself, it lets you know that the word deluge goes back to Noah's flood in Genesis. All right. A great washing away, or anything that has an overflow. All right. This little screen in the corner is actually bothering. If I click this button, does that take away my screen?
No, you're good.
Okay. Amen. Excellent. Because I couldn't see.
Hey, hold on. Stop his time. Let me give you a little pointer.
Absolutely.
You see where it say cloudy? You see where it say the 54 degrees cloudy right there? And they got the box. and then they got the 4 box, and then they got the box with that TV with the screen. If you put it on there, it'll blow up your whole screen, and it won't have this on the side of it. So you can blow up your whole screen and just click your mouth and go from slide to slide. Now, see, I'm giving out free points.
I appreciate you. All praise. So would you say this one right here, this button?
No, go down. Look, go all the way down to the bottom of the screen. You see where it say 54 degrees cloudy? See where it say that? Now look up. You see where it say the 4 box right there? Not that one. And then it go, yeah, not the 4 box. No, go over 2 times. Go over 1, 2. You see the one? No, this little stand. Nah, bro, go back.
Okay.
There you go. You got it. I think that is that it?
Is this it? All right. Oh man, throw out an arc, man.
Yeah,
double honors. Come on, double honors. See a father, double honors.
You can also zoom in on your words on that too.
Okay, throw out. All right, so that's where we started at. Okay, I don't want to go over it again, but I really appreciate everybody who helped me out with that. Throw out. All right,
King Seth, mute your mic while you helping for your own destruction. What's still going on in here?
I'm gonna help a nigga beat himself. Real time.
Moving forward. So my objective is not only to teach about the flood, but it's to warn the people. Reason being is because there's another destruction that's coming that the first world actually knew about. So Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1 through verse 9 is for everybody. I'm not speaking to Seth. All right. Seth is a part of this, but I'm actually speaking to the people that's behind Seth. I'm speaking to the people that's actually wanting to hear and learn something different. Now, Seth is a part of this, so I'm not discrediting him, but my objective is to teach the people. So again, Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 1, again, the word of YAHAWAH came unto me saying, and right here it says, Son of man, speak unto the children of thy people. So this is who I'm talking to, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if he see if the sword come upon the land, he bloweth the trumpet and warn the people. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. So if you have heard the narrative of Noah's Ark or the great deluge that happened before, and then you see the time frames of what's happening right now, and you don't take heed or take warning to start fixing yourself, getting your things together, learning about the creator of everything, who is YAHAWAH, the God of the Israelites, the God of the whole world, actually. If you don't take heed to the warning, then you will be taken away. And if we can see that he placed a large boat on top of a mountain encased in ice, and that if that proof and evidence is there, which it is, then we should also take heed to the warning of the future trouble that's coming. And that way we get a chance to be able to fix ourselves before that happens. Verse 5, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. And that's what we want to do. We want to get our friends, our families, those that's close, near, to be able to have the opportunity to be able to do something different. I don't want to die in my sin and my wickedness, nor do I want my friends or family to eat. I don't even want my enemies to, honestly. They're going to have their portion. But in reality, if we can, we should bring all people to MASHAYACH YAHAWASHI, which the world ignorantly accidentally calls Jesus. That's who we should be bringing them to, so he can come to his Father. Verse 6. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if his sword come and take any person from among them, he has taken away his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hands. All right. So this is our responsibility, to be able to teach and draw people to our Father for the sake of saving, helping. All right. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee as a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die, if thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way. That wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but the blood will I require at thine hand. And that's a warning to the people. That's a warning to us who know better. All right. So if you know better, you don't speak, then you can possibly be putting your own self in jeopardy and losing your own family's lives. All right. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked to turn away, so like that. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, then he shall die in his iniquity, but thou shalt deliver thine own soul. And that's the stance that I believe that we should all take. Now, my next thing that I'm going to be presenting is, why did the flood happen? Because of what we just read previously. All right. Now, according to the narrative that we know to be true, Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, 6, Verse 5, 7, and verse 12, here's what happened. And YAHAWAH, I'm going to be reading half in English, half in Hebrew. If anybody has questions, I don't mind. And God, YAHAWAH, saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of his thoughts and of his heart was only evil continually. Verse 7, and YAHAWAH said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and the creeping thing and the fowls of the air. But notice he didn't say he would destroy the things in the oceans, which shows us that the things in the sea are a lot older than the things that are above, right? For it repenteth me that I have made them. Verse 12, and God, YAHAWAH, looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted the way upon the earth. And this is the same time frame that we're living in now. So we're seeing wickedness increase. All right. This is the reason why YAHAWAH sent the great deluge. And now we can go to the next part, which is Genesis chapter 6, verse 12 through verse 17. So one thing that's a major issue that we see is sodomy. All right. We see the eating of unclean meats, and that's a very important thing. We see the laws of YAHAWAH thrown behind our shoulders instead of being in front of us. So Genesis chapter 6, verse 12 through verse 17, and it reads, and YAHAWAH looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. Verse 13, and YAHAWAH said unto Noah. Now, it's very important to know that Noah's name is pronounced a lot of different ways. And when I lived in Turkey, they actually came up to the company that we were with, and they called us Noah because of the way that we look, because of the way that we dress, and because in Turkey, they actually acknowledge us as being Israelites. They call us Çocuğu Musa, children of Moses, in the land of Ararat in Turkey. So the point of saying that is to say it's important to know that Noah has different names. So right here, and Noah, YAHAWAH said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, and the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms thou shalt make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make of it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of 50 cubits, the height of 30 cubits. Verse 16, a window shalt thou make it the ark, and a cubit shalt thou finish it above, and the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. All right, all important information, because when we go forward, we're going to see that this boat still exists to this day, and it has those dimensions. Verse 17, the last part, and behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon. Remember, this word is Harassa. When it says earth, it doesn't mean regionally. All right, that word is ba'Allah. Ba'Allah is the word for a regional flood, such as in Samaria or in Palestine. All right. But the word Harassa is the word that's used here in Hebrew, which is why we started with that. To destroy all flesh, not just in the region, wherein the breath of life from under heaven, and every living thing that is in the earth shall die. So we see this painting right here. Anybody can Google this image. You know, you just Google the words painting time before the flood. All right. This isn't just a random painting. This painting was done on purpose by the artist, and I don't remember his name at the time, but you can Google time before the flood painting, and it'll show that what was happening was during the times of Noah, things were reveling, things were wild. And it's the same thing that we see here at the top. It's the same thing. So the destruction that the Most High brought upon the world is because he's seen that wickedness greatly increased. We have men, women, and children celebrating an abomination, which I have no problem saying, an abominable feast in the most holy land in the world, which is Jerusalem or Jerusalem. The same thing we see here that the Most High tells us in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18, pride goeth before destruction. And I'm here to tell you that destruction is coming again. However this debate goes, the objective is we want to warn the people. So we have Satanism, we have, you know, the most abominable things that we've seen in our time frame, you know, with the Balenciaga scandal and with the Sam Smith, if anybody heard of that abomination, you know, this is one of the tattoos of his arm of a child in the mirror with his pants down on high-heeled shoes. So the Father tells us that these things are going to happen and pride will go before destruction. Well, I'm telling you, destruction is coming next, okay? So in social media and without the world, we have the children of Israel being used as tools for Hashatan, Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 13. Again, for pride is the beginning of sin. So in the beginning of the first world that YAHAWAH had destroyed, the first time frame, we had the arrogancy, we had the pride, we had the revelings. Pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore, YAHAWAH brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. This picture that's in the bottom right corner is a Hamite African family of a grandmother that's 61 years old, marrying her 9-year-old son. Utter abomination. All right. Hell, Satan is a documentary that anybody can just watch right now on TV. And the whole objective is to
2 minutes.
Absolutely.
2 minutes.
With that being said, I'm very grateful. So lastly, on this point, Genesis chapter 18, verse 1 through verse 4 is understanding where the ark of YAHAWAH is currently located. All right, which Noah and his family navigated and is right now steadfast planted, which will lead me into the next segment. So with that, I yield the floor.
All right, so he gave up his last 2 minutes. King Seth, Jeremiah, did you want to commentate or bring in King Seth?
No, let's rock and roll, man. Great round throughout the Zayah. Great round. Clear and concise. Let's go, King Seth. The Texas rattlesnake, it's on you. You're on mute, King Seth. 1 second before you get started. We lost the timekeeper. For some reason, it's dropping her off and bringing her back. She'll be back in just a second.
I'm keeping time too, so we can keep it rolling.
All right, let's go, King Seth. It's on you. Whenever you're ready, share your screen.
Your time starts when your screen is up and you speak, brother. Oh, she's back.
Is my screen shared? Hello?
Yes, it's on the screen.
Can everybody hear me? Am I clear?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Is the biblical narrative of the flood historical? I'm preaching a negative, King Self. So my brother in the last round, you know, he wanted to use the narrative of the earth. So we're gonna go on that. Let's check on this right here. For everybody that will be on top of the screen on just each slide or something. This right here, I want to introduce this Pastor Anthony right here. He thought he played game too. So I invited him to come through and see what it is. Go through a couple of definitions. I like to start my debates off with definitions. Let's go with the narrative. A, something that is not really a story account. He is writing a detailed narrative of his life on the island. B, a way of presenting, understanding a situation or series of events that reflects and promotes a particular point of view or set of values. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? I see my man up here, his car's moving. So, you know, okay, historical. Narrative and historical. Of relating to or having character history. Okay.
King Self, real
based
quick,
on history.
King Self, your mic is messing up.
In the past to reproduce in historical presentation. Okay. Relating to history. Based on history. Using in the past to reproduce a historical presentation.
King Self, listen to me, brother. Listen to me. Your mic is distorted. What did you because it was perfect earlier. What are you doing differently? Because your mic started.
Let me put then somebody now I got my my wife came in the door. Can you hear me now? Hello?
I can hear you, but it's still kind of distorted. Are you talking? If you're there, say something.
Hello.
All right, now your volume's low.
Yeah. Mic check 1 2. Can you hear me? Mic check 1 2. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
increase your volume. Yeah, I can hear you.
My volume needs to be up. Hello, can you hear me?
There you go. That's better. That's better.
All
That's
right.
better.
Yeah, I had to put my headphones on. All right,
Now
cool. So we see the difference between. Can you hear me now?
yeah, but now it's popping. Your mic is popping.
Hello. It's popping, bro. I ain't letting up my line. Like, bro, I'm right here.
Okay, that's clear now. Let's try again. Let's try again. Let's try again. Go ahead and go. Go ahead and go.
All right. So we see the definitions. We see the definitions right here, and we see Pastor got his note slide. Let's go to the next slide. All right, Noah and the flood synopsis. This my little niece right here. She gonna be helping me, y'all. You know, she gonna be popping in every now and then for a little thing. I think she say, man, don't waste her time. So, you know, young lady, we not gonna waste your time, but we gonna get to the facts. Noah and the flood synopsis. Like I say, you're gonna see my sources on my slides. In Judeo-Christian tradition, the story of the flood symbolizes God's punishment in the scene among mankind. He decides to destroy all men except for Noah and his family, because Noah alone among men had lived a life free of sin and evil. Noah and his descendants thus mark the beginning of new relationship between God and man, with the rainbow symbolizing God's promise not to flood again. His covenant paves the way for the New Testament, Jesus Christ, whose covenant with mankind will be even more pronounced since Jesus will sacrifice himself for all humans to redeem their sins. All right, let's not waste the young lady time. You see what I'm saying? Let's keep going. This is the narrative. Now, like he said, like the brother said before, he admitted to it's not a regional flood. He said it was the whole earth. And I'm going to concur. Now, as y'all can see, the pastor over here, he champion for this. He's saying the world too. That's what the pastor, this Pastor Anthony of the Holy Bible Baptist Church of Queens or whatever, such and such and such and such. Now let's go to Genesis 6. See, this is 9. Let's go to 6. Let's go to let's go to verse 15 right here. This is how you are to build it. Cubits high. Make a roof for it, leaves below the roof. Open it 1 cubit high all around. Put a door on the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I'm going to bring flood waters onto the earth. Like he said, the earth. To destroy all life under the heavens. Every creature that has the breath of life in it. Everything on earth. Now I want people to remember this word. Earth. Because this is not just saying regional, like he said. Like the brother admitted in the first round, that this is not a worldwide, this is not a regional flood. This is a worldwide flood. Let's get it. So, but I will establish you and your wife and sons, wives with you. You are to bring into the ark of all living creatures, male, female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird and every kind of animal, and of every kind of creature that moves along the ground, which come to you. Blah blah blah. We know what he's saying. That. Let's go to the next one. Let's get our thinking pad out, let's young sis. Let's get it. So she gonna hit y'all up with the blue letter Bible. We're gonna hit y'all up with the Hebrew lexicon, Strong's H12, Adamaya, Ayada, Ed Ayama. Right there, Genesis 6, right there, H9. You can look it up. Everybody can go to it. Like I said, all of my sources are on my slides. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth. So this is meaning the earth. So the narrative is the flood encompassed the whole earth. This is the narrative. Because we already said in the beginning, and we did already the looking up in the definition of the word narrative. So let's go here. We see the narrative that the whole earth was flooded, both man and beast, and every creeping thing and fowls in the air, for it repenteth me, and I made them. Okay, I dive in y'all ground. Let's see outline of biblical usage. Let's see ground, substance, piece of ground, earth substance, ground of earth, visible surface, land, territory, country, whole inhabited earth, city of Naphtali. Okay, so we know by the context of which this means, like I got the figure up here, the 3D figure up here with the water moving. That means that the whole earth was covered with water. That's what this means. On the outline of the biblical uses of the word over here in H12 and H127 in the Hebrew, ada ayama. Whatever it is, it's on the screen. The young sister looked it up, so let's get it. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that, young niece. Let's get it. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Evidence of the same story being told previously before Israel. As I said, my sources are at the top of the screen. Y'all can go to that if y'all choose. This is how Professor Ronald S. Henley of USC Berkeley explains the beauty of the biblical story of Noah's flood. Now, I want y'all to listen to these words that these scholars use as I go through the debate. Even if, as more of a casual student of ancient texts, you are aware of the Babylonian predecessors. Now, we know what the word predecessors mean. Let's not act like words don't have definitions to the biblical flood narrative. You may not understand the critical difference between them and the Genesis tale, or what those differences tell us about ancient Israel. As Hindell explains it, the best stories, keyword story, the best stories, of course, are a vehicle of profound insights into our relationship to the world, each other, and God. Flood stories live in many cultures. And like an ordinary battle of the late Bronze Age in Western Anatolia became Homer's epic for the Trojan War, a flood that second largest in a tragic to the ancient Mesopotamian village could easily grow over centuries into a biblical cleansing of the entire earth at the hands of God, because that's what they saw. So, like he said, this is not a regional flood. This is his argument that this is the whole world. Now let's keep going. Babylonian flood tablet, the Gilgamesh epic tablet. A 7th century BCE copy found on the Assyrian Hebrew Layard and Nineveh is shown here. Euphrosyntesium sings Gilgamesh of the great flood that destroyed the world, a story which details similarities to Noah's flood in Genesis. Photo, you already know it's at British Museum. These are facts. Let's go. Flood mythology. This Britannica. This is a Britannica source. Greek legend. In Greek, Diacathlon, the son of Prometheus, the creator of humankind, is equivalent to Noah. When Zeus, the king gods, resolved and destroyed all humanity by a flood, Diacathlon constructed an ark in which, according to one version, he and his wife rode out the flood and landed on Mount Panophysius. Come on, man, let's stop the cap. Now let's go. See, this is my Indian. I want to introduce y'all to the Pika right here. She don't know. This my Indian, which she don't know. That's why she's shaking her head, because she from India. She like, hold on, right? According to the Indian flood mythology, man Manu was a sole survivor of a great flood, combining characteristics of the Hebrew Bible figures of Noah and Adam, the first man, and the Shinetha Pi Brahma. Recounts of Manu was warned by a fish to whom he had done a kindness that a flood would destroy the whole of humanity. He therefore built a boat, as the fish advised. When the flood came, he tied his boat to the fish's horn and was safely steered to the resting place on a mountaintop. When the flood receded, Manu, the sole human survivor, performed a sacrifice, pouring obligation of butter and sour milk into the waters. After a year, there was born from the waters a woman announced, and that was the daughter of Manu. So we can see by these stories that okay, maybe this flood story ain't just happening with them. Maybe Israel is just Johnny come lately, because these people right here are way before them, are way established before these people. Now we gonna get into that, and I'm gonna show you that in a couple more rounds. You did what I'm saying? So watch this. So Pastor, why you booing? Why your thumbs down? I know you don't like this. You know what I'm saying? Forget Noah's Ark. That was no worldwide flood. As again I say, my sources are on the screen. The worldwide flood described in Genesis 6-9 is not historical. That's the key word right there. That's in the debate title. It's not historical, but rather a combination of at least two flood stories, both of which descend from earlier Mesopotamian flood narratives. There's another word that's in the debate title. Narrative. It's a narrative. Note that this does not mean all of the claims made in the Bible are false or true for that matter. I'm dealing here only with the biblical stories of the flood. Also understanding that the slippery slope claim of all the Bible is true or none of it is true is simply an unnecessary rhetorical device designed to keep readers from doing precisely what scholars do every day, which is analyze each claim in the Bible on a case-by-case basis. It is not necessary to accept an all or none stance toward the Bible. Now, watch this. This is a quote from Dr. Robert Galley of the University of Iowa in America, the Mensa. He say, in order to even entertain the possibility of a worldwide flood, one has to bypass all laws of physics, exist the realm of science, and enter into a realm of miraculous, which many believers are willing to do. If you're willing to do that and just keep telling your children that Santa Claus real, that's you. But don't come to me trying to tell me it's real, because I'm look, get your notepad out. There you go. Look, Pastor. Look, the Pastor. You better get your notepad out. That's what I'm talking about. Forget it about Noah's Ark. There's no Wi-Fi. Most biblical, not as I say, my sources are at the top. Most biblical and hello, can am I still here? Can people hear me?
Loud and clear. You're clear,
okay.
brother.
Okay, cool. Most biblical and ancient Near Eastern scholars argue that the flood is a mythical story adapted from earlier Mesopotamian flood accounts. These early accounts include 17th century BCE Sumerian flood myth Eridu, Genesis 5, the 18th century BCE Akkadian attribute Hasis, the Epic of Gilgamesh, which are some of the earliest known examples of the literary style of writing. The most complete version of the Epic of Gilgamesh known today is preserved on the 12th clay tablet from the library of Assyrian king Ashurbanipal. I mean, 685 to 627. This extended Akkadian version derived from the earlier Sumerian versions. In the story of Gilgamesh, his companion, a wild man beast named Enkidu, traveled the world on a number of quests and ultimately displeased the god.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, so it's my 2 minutes. Let's get down to the meat, to the nitty-gritty. These flood stories appear to have been transmitted to the Israelites early in Israel's history. Contact between the Assyrians and the Israelites is known from the conquest of Israel and its capital Samaria. In 721 BCE by the Assyrian king Shalmaneser, 727 to 722 BCE, and from the attempted conquest of Jerusalem by the Assyrian king Shetharab, 704 to 681. These stories were apparently modified to conform to a monotheistic faith, but retain characteristics such as the destruction of nearly all living things via a flood, the salvation of a select few people and animals, and the construction of a boat in regret to the deity, and the regret of the deity for the flood, prompting the promise not so to do so again. Thus, like many of the early stories of Israel's primordial history, the flood story appears to be an adaptation and the integration of a previously known myth into the theology of Israel. So what this is saying is that this story was adapted from stories before. So he hasn't proved within the time of Noah that it happened within his time, because these are stories that was already told the same way, the same thing, just different names. It don't matter what you do to it, it's still the same story. Now the narrative is the worldwide flood, not regional. Like he said it's not a regional flood. I'm saying that it is a regional flood, but it was not a worldwide flood via the narrative of the debate topic. The debate topic is the flood story, or the biblical flood narrative, and historical act. Is it historical? And that is the narrative. I proved the definitions in the beginning. I went to the
time. That is time. That is time.
Yo. Joshua.
Hey, Jeremiah, you ain't the middleweight champion for no reason, brother.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm talking about, King Seth. Let's talk. Now we got conflicting.
Man, I want no smoke with me, man. I'm telling you, man.
We don't need no ad-libs from you, King Seth. Thank you very much. Okay? What's going on in here, man? Joshua, man, get your mans. Whose mans is this? Right? Look, we got two conflicting paradigms here, right? And so we're going to be able to get into the meat and potatoes of these things. We're entering into the second round. Pastor Harassa, are you ready?
Come on, Con.
Your time will start when we share your screen.
All right. So that's all right. All praise to water. All right. So just to get back to it, from my opinion, what the brother Seth did was excellent because, you know, from what I see, he further validated that this flood was known throughout different cultures. All right. So I'm going to jump right back into it. As we've seen, this narrative that YAHAWAH gave us was that this flood was brought about because of the wickedness of the world. Now, as we're going to go to now, Genesis chapter 8, verse 1 and verse 4, and we're going to understand the location of where the Ark of Noah currently is resting today. All right. So not only did the flood happen, the word that was used there, I read in Hebrew. All right. So I'm going to let everybody know the word is aratzah. All right. That's the correct word that's used for world, and it means earth. It means the entire earth. And then even in Seth's definition that he gave, there was a word that was skipped, which was the entire world, the entire land. So if anybody's seen that, the word that's there is actually aratzah. All right. So let's get back to it. And YAHAWAH remembered Noah. If you look at the top left corner of the screen, now the location of where Noah's Ark is currently right now at this time is in the mountains of Armenia, is in Turkey. All right. So we have a map, we have a representation of what Noah's Ark is. And verse 1, and it reads, and YAHAWAH remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And YAHAWAH made the wind to pass over the earth. And see, again, the word that's there is aratzah, is the word earth. So we're going to see that continually. And I encourage everybody, even though you can use Blue Letter Bible, you have to make sure you use the right words, because sometimes you have the same name and it'll be a different person, or sometimes it'll say earth or world, and you have to know the difference between the two. So with that being said, we made the wind to pass over the aratzah, the earth, and the waters assuaged. Verse 4, and the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat, of Arat. Now, the next part that we're going to read is the same thing. And again, Seth did an excellent job of speaking of the other cultures of the world that knew about this worldwide deluge that happened. And the next part, it says the Babylonian name was Aratu. So we're still speaking about the mountains in Armenia. And 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 37, and Isaiah chapter 37, verse 38, the word is translated from the King James Version. Aratu is the original name. To now we know the name as being Armenia, which correctly represents the region designated. It was to Armenia that the sons of Sennacherib is the name. All right. Sennacherib was a king that, conquered Yasharallah. And once he was defeated, he fled into Armenia. All right. We can see that in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 27. Now, Ararat is a mountain location that's inside of Armenia. All right. And is associated with Median Ashkenaz, which is the Jewish people. This is a location that they live in. Genesis chapter 8, verse 4 says the ark is said to have rested upon the mountains of Ararat, i.e., in the mountainous regions of Armenia. The plural showing that there is mountainous peaks was known as Ararat was not referred to. And the reason why it says that is because in Ararat, in Armenia, in the place of Aratu, there's actually two mountains. And they're not two mountains. One of them is a mountain and one of them is a volcano. All right. This is the peak of the volcano region rising up from the lowlands of Harassa, which is a river. Now, check this out. The height of the location of where this ark and this historical flood happened, the mountain is 17,000 feet, right? And that's how high up YAHAWAH proved that he could put a boat. So in the future days, we would be able to go back and look, not only go back and see that he actually did this event, but to warn us, okay? So we have another mountain right next to it. There's 2 locations, and the other one is 13,000 feet. Now, here's a historical reference that we're going to use, which is Flavius Josephus' Antiquities of the Jews, which was a master historian of the Levitical priesthood of the Israelite culture. Now, I do agree with Seth that the narrative came all the way down to every culture, but it's not that YAHAWAH or Israel, we adapted it. We just had a better record of it. And the other cultures that didn't know the exact record, but they knew it happened from a flood, all of us came from 3 sons of Noah, which was Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So the other cultures knew about this flood, but Shem's bloodline, which passed all the way down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we kept better records. So Flavius Josephus, at the top of the screen in the top left corner, it says AJ, which means Antiquities of the Jews, 131. All right, and it reads, now the posterity of Kyng, it doesn't say King. Now the posterity of Seth continue to esteem YAHAWAH as the almighty power, as the Elohim of the universe, and to have the entire regard of virtue for 7 generations. But in process of time, they were perverted and forsook the practices of their forefathers, and did neither pay those honors to YAHAWAH which were appointed them, nor had any concern to do justice towards men. And this is the direction that the world is going now. So we started off showing honor, reverence, and respect to the Most High, which everything was fine when we stopped. Then he brought the great deluge upon us because the world had flowed into a pattern of wickedness. All right. So, but for what degree of zeal they had formerly shown for virtue, now showed by their action a double degree of wickedness, whereby they made YAHAWAH to be their enemy. But Noah was very uneasy at what they did, and being displeased at their conduct, persuaded them to change their disposition and their acts for the better. And that's what my stance is, to tell everybody, not only did this worldwide deluge, which we read the definition of it, I showed the word in the correct word in Hebrew of Harassa, but also to warn everybody that there's going to be another destruction that's going to come. So when we go to these other slides and we see that the world powers knew about this great deluge, and that also this large ark is still in the world, now we have something to look at and say, well, hold on, there may be a future, definitely will be a future judgment coming that we want to prepare ourselves for. Now, here's a few precepts on Noah. For those who don't know, we have Hebrews chapter 11, verse 7. It says, by faith, Noah, being warned of YAHAWAH, of things not seen as of yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house by which he condemned, and we have the word world again. Now, again, I encourage everybody, go to the scripture. The word is Harassa, which means the entire planet, and absolutely not regional, which again is why we have to know how to not only pick a word from Hebrew, but we have to know how to read Hebrew, okay? All right, and became heir of righteousness, which is by faith. Ecclesiastes chapter 44, verse 17. Noah was found perfect and righteous in the time of wrath. He was taken in exchange for the Harassa. Therefore, what was he left as a remnant unto the earth when the flood came? So we see 2 different words are used there. So that's why it's important, again, to do every word that you see. Whenever you're doing research, and YAHAWAH, which I encourage everybody, Hebrew is super easy. If you need help, you can contact one of us and we'll help you. Verse 18, an everlasting token or a covenant was made with him, that all flesh should perish no more by the flood. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 5. And what? YAHAWAH spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness. All right. The flood upon the Harassa. This word is everywhere, upon the world of the ungodly. So what was this token that YAHAWAH left? YAHAWAH left us the token. In the background, you can see it's not me, it's the image of the rainbow. That's the objective, is to say not only did this flood happen, but the promise that the Most High gave us. In Sirach chapter 43, verse 11 through 12, YAHAWAH told us to look upon the rainbow and praise him that made it. Very beautiful it is in the brightness thereof. Verse 12, it compasseth the heaven about with the glorious circle. The hands of Yahweh the Most High hath bended it. All right. So Yahweh gave us this promise after he did the great deluge. All right. Genesis chapter 9, verse 13. I do set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be for a token of covenant between me and the Strong's word. H776 is Harassa. So the incorrect word was used. And again, we have to know how to speak Hebrew. And anybody can go and look this up. That's the word that's used in Hebrew, not the word that Seth used earlier, which means the whole world. All right, so to move on forward, historical references of the Ark and the flood in Armenia, modern day Turkey. Again, Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book 1, chapter 3, paragraph or line 1, paragraph 93. Now, all the writers of the barbarian histories made mention of this deluge. All right, so we can see world cultures all over, including Egypt. All right, gave reference of this great deluge, of this great flood, among whom is Berosus, the Chaldean. Again, as Seth said, the other cultures knew about this, and it was not, again, I repeat, it was not a regional flood. We both agreed on that. It was a worldwide flood. But Berosus, the Chaldean, for when he was describing the circumstances of the flood, he goes on to say thus. It is said that there are still some parts of the ship in Armenia, as we've seen as Turkey, modern day Turkey today, at the mountain of the Chaldeans, and that some people carry off pieces of the bitumen. Those are pieces of wood. There are literally people right now in Turkey that go up to this mountain, break off pieces of this ark that's encapsulated in ice, and bring it back down to prove that Yahweh destroyed the first world. I don't care if Seth is right or not. All I care about is showing the truth and then telling people that Yahweh is bringing the judgment. He put a boat on a mountain encapsulated in ice, 17,000 feet above in the sky, excuse me. And there's not enough water in the oceans of the world right now that can reach up that high. So there had to be a worldwide deluge. We have to believe the narrative of the scriptures. Either that or suffer the consequences to come. All right. That's the warning. All right. At this mountain of the Chaldeans, and some people carry off pieces of the bitumen, which they take away and use chiefly as amulets for the averting of mischiefs. All right. We have Hieronymus, and the Egyptian also. So we see even the Hamites, the Egyptians, the children of Canaan, they gave narratives, which we're going to look at that also, explaining this worldwide deluge. Okay. Who wrote the Phoenician antiquities, Menaeus, and great many more make mention of the same. All right. Now, Nicolaus of Damascus, please everybody go look him up. In his 96th book, have particular relation about them, whereas he speaks thus. And the great mountain in Armenia over the Minyas called Baris. Baris is the name of the mountains also in Mount Ararat. It was called Baris, all right, in cuneiform, all right, upon which it is reported that many who fled at the time of the deluge, remember the word deluge means global flood, all right, were saved, and that one who was carried in an ark came on shore upon the top of it, and that the remains of this timber were in great while preserved. This might be the man whom Moses, the legislator, which means the lawgiver of the Jews, wrote. All right. The travels of Marco Polo. So we're looking at more historical and biblical references. So Marco Polo, the historian, right? Let's see what he says. His section is called Armenia in book 1, chapter 3. The people of that country are the Armenians and are subject to the Tartar, which was the ruler at the time. And you must know that in this country of Armenia, that the Ark of Noah's existence, the Ark of Noah exists on top of a certain great mountain, on the summit of which snow is so constant that no one can ascend, that no one can ascend, for the snow never melts and is constantly added by new falls. So the point of saying such is to show that we have multiple historians, we have, different cultures, and these are not
2 minutes.
Excellent.
2 minutes.
Excellent. These are not people that didn't know world history. So now we're looking at in-world cultures' knowledge of a land-changing deluge supported by geology. I'm gonna get that one. As our flood legends, all the way from Scandinavia to Egypt. All right, so these are different representations of different cultures, from Arabic to Hindu to Hindi, and my favorite is Nun and the great flood story narrative that we see of the Egyptian false goddess holding up a great ark with 8 people above it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th one. So not only is every culture in the world knowledgeable of this, but also didn't speak about a regional flood. This image right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is one of my reasons why I like to say that I salute the Egyptian culture, because they further prove the biblical references. All right, next slide. I'm going to yield the floor on this. All right, this is called antediluvian or pre-flood, which Seth spoke about earlier, Sumerian information, which is going to show more details in cuneiform how the flood actually happened. And it happened over time and across the world. And with that, I yield the floor.
Yo. Okay. Joshua.
Man, this brother went to the antiquities, man. This
Hey, man,
brother.
listen, man, it's starting to make a lot of sense to me, right? Because the question was, right? The question was, Salakia. The question was, how does these ancient civilizations have the flood story? Is the flood story a copy, or if it's not? According to the brother's understanding, is that this flood story, right, predate all existence, right? And it's something that had a trickle-down effect from generation to generation. I think that's a powerful point. And hey, listen, that 8 man on that Egyptian hieroglyph, woo, Joshua, I don't know, man. Let's go, King Seth. Where you at, man? Where's you at, brother?
He definitely was punching. He was punching, brother.
Woo! I don't know, man.
Where's King Seth? He ain't on life support, is he?
Nah, I just brought him up.
Oh, here you go. King Seth already going. He already going. Not even on stage.
Man, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Let's get you. You ready to go?
Man. Nah, man. Hold on. Y'all bamboozling me. Hello?
Nah, we got you.
Don't do the Akmalak, brother. Please.
Y'all can hear me.
Hey, come on, Joshua, come on.
Can y'all hear me, man? That's what I'm asking.
We can hear you, brother.
All right, cool. Y'all see my young sister right there, man. She looking at y'all like, man, the narrative is the worldwide flood, not regional. Like he said, it's not regional. You see what I'm saying? See, I thought he was going to come in and put up a fight, but he off topic. He going off faith. He talking about we got to believe. What you mean we got to believe? I'm going off facts. I'm going off what's real. Come on, sis. Come on, yo. Sis, the pastor down there talking noise. Come on, let's get, look, right there. Pastor, you beat me here? His heart beating. Okay. Regional evidence of the Noachian and the similar floods. 2 rivers of the Euphrates and the Tigris flow through Mesopotamia, which is now the country of Iraq, figure 1, which there are several layers that expose rocks near these 2 rivers in southeastern Mesopotamia that are likely flood deposits. Most are about a foot thick, but one as much as 3 meters thick. Flood debris from the same thick deposits along the Euphrates River near the ancient Sumerian city of Shurupuk, about 200 kilometers southeast of Baghdad, have been dated about C14 method, aging the area by 2900 BCE. Flood deposits 2.4 meters thick of the reported of the McDonough as far northeast as the ancient Babylonian city of Kish, 100 kilometers south of Baghdad. At any rate, the many flood deposits layer off the flooding in southeastern Mesopotamia was not unusual in ancient times. Similar large local floods are common throughout history around the world. For example, monsoon storms in Bangladesh frequently produce much rain over the country and in the Himalaya mountains, which raise the northern part of the country. Runoff of the water from the rain and the melting snow during such storms create great floods in four rivers that converge in the Wine River, which then drains into the huge delta in the Bay of Bengal. Thousands of people have been drowned in this delta region by many such floods during the last century. Almost every culture through history has a flood story to tell, as would the people in Bangladesh. But in each of these times and places, the floods would have been local and not worldwide. Dr. Lawrence G. Collins. Now, see what they saying is that when it rain off in these mountains and it be snowing off in these mountains in the winter, when it thaw and when it rain, all the rain come down to the flatland because that's where the people settle. The people settle down by the river, and the people settle down by the flatland. So that's like any civilization. If you want to go find any ancient civilization, all you got to do is go by a ancient riverbed, and I guarantee you, within 100 yards, you're gonna find some type of civilization 360 degrees. You're gonna find something dealing with some type of people because people live by the water source. And so the water ran down from the mountains as it thawed and as it rained and pulled down where it was low land like a puddle. That's what happened, like a giant puddle. So let's keep going. I see your heart beating, Pastor. Oh, your brain hurt. Look. What you got your hand on your head if I see your heart beating? Does a regional flood meet the narrative? No, it does not. A regional flood does not mean the whole world. Watch this. Evidence of a regional Mesopotamian flood has been discovered by archaeologists. One such archaeologist is C. Leonard Woolley, who says in his book, of the Chaldeans, that's my source right there. You can click on it and you can check on him that he discovered 8 feet of the sediment of Abram's hometown This implies a serious but regional Mesopotamian flood. He says, taking into consideration all facts, there could be no doubt that the flood of which we had thus found the only possible evidence was a flood of Sumerian history and legend. So this is not the flood of Noah. This is a flood that happened a long time way before Noah. So that's when my first round come in. I said everything in the first round to show you that the narrative of the Bible is not real because it was already happening before it. So how can you have the flood narrative right here happening when you saying it happening when you taking it from another story? So that was my first round going in here. So watch this. Which is the Sumerian and the Hebrew stories of the flood alike, go back, does not, of course, prove any signal detail in either of these stories. This deluge was not universal, but a local disaster confined to the lower valley of the Tigris and the Euphrates, affecting an area perhaps 400 miles long to 100 miles across. But for occupants of the valley, that was the whole world. Another possibility for the flood in Genesis 6:9 is the flood evidence found underneath the Black Sea. Archaeologists say that around 7,000 years ago, there was a massive flood due to the melting of ice glaciers. That state that the ancient coastlines and the ancient cities have been found via people diving underneath the Black Sea. So there is even evidence of localized floods within the potential regions of Genesis 6:9. So they're saying that it been flooding there since way before then. That's what happened. That's like I'm from Texas, and I went from Katrina to Rita, where I'm from. If I knew that New Orleans and the southeast part of Texas and all that right there in the South Louisiana was the whole world. When I grew up and wrote about it, that was the whole world, Louisiana and such and such. That's what they wrote about, but it wasn't a worldwide flood. And I thought my opponent was gonna at least try to argue that, but he not. You dust. Even the pastor right there got his head hurt, heart beating. Let's go through it. Let's go through a couple of scientific reasons. Fossilized coal. Y'all see my credentials on the front of the screen. You know what I'm saying? Every retired professor of geology at California University of Norwich. The White Cliffs of the Dover of the eastern coast of England consist of top layers up to 350 feet thick that are comprised of fossilized coccoliths, a kind of algae, and these layers are the same age of the sedimentary rocks that overlie giant cross-bedding sandstones in the Zion National Park. Therefore, they are supposedly also deposited by Noah's flood, but coccoliths are very tiny and have chloroplasts that require sunlight and must float close to the ocean surface to get energy from the sun. Because of this, all of them could not have been living in the same time to the depths of 350 feet in 1 year in which the flood is said to have occurred. Because that meaning organisms in the water at the same time would have blocked out the sunlight from organisms below for the near surface. So what they saying is that what this algae would have did, it would have rose all the way to the top. And when it rose all the way to the top, they would have been trying to feed off the sunlight so bad they'd have blocked all the sunlight going to the ocean. So nothing in the ocean would have lived. Because this is the only organ for a year. Everything in the ocean would have been dead because this organism right here would have rose all the way to the ocean and blocked out the sun for everything beneath the ocean to grow. You see what I'm saying? So that's one. Let's go to another one. Yeah, get your pen out, Pastor. There you go, Pastor of the Episcopal Baptist Churches of the Stance of the Second Baptist of the Christian of Latter-day Saints, or you know what I'm saying, whatever church is from, Pastor Anthony. Decoding the actual age of the Sphinx. Now we finna see why I brought this up. We finna see why I brought this up. You know what I'm saying? By Tasha, y'all see, everybody see, y'all know what my source is at. It's Kyng Seth. Y'all know me. On the ongoing battle between mainstream Egyptologists and more recent waves of the independent thinkers debate of the age of the Sphinx of thousands of years, the latter insists that the imposing limestone statues is much older than mainstream archaeologists and Egyptologists claim to be. Mainstream archaeologists determine the Sphinx to have been built between 2558 and 2532 BCE. But in 1992, John Anthony West rocked the scientific community, which claimed that the Sphinx was actually carved 10,000 years ago, earlier before Egypt was a desert. Okay, before Egypt was a desert. West and others argued that academia had overlooked the important detail. The body of the sculpture bore distinct markings of water erosion. Okay. Ooh. Look, they look at I bet you y'all like, oh, I gotta die. No, you don't. After this assessment of the Sphinx age, West found fellow scientists who shared the observation about uncovering an entirely different history than the uncommon accepted. West's research led to Robert Scopes, a geology professor at the Boston University, willing to pursue an open-minded, out-of-the-box investigation into the origins not only of the Sphinx, but the entire region, as well as the implications of the origins of the human species. So if he's trying to say that the Sphinx is older than this, like this hill, like we got it wrong, then it should have been in this flood, right? And we should be able to see it. Let's see what the water erosion is on the Sphinx. And Gaia original series, y'all can click on it because it's in blue. Y'all can click on the screen right now and just bam, hit it. Scott explains his first encounter with the figure in 1990, at which time he immediately noticed there was a disconnect between the statue's academically accepted date of origin and the truth staring him in the face. Upon careful inspection, Scott realized that the Sphinx survives immensely wet weather conditions that stand in stark contrast to the now hyper-arid conditions of the Sahara Desert. Seuss concluded that the academia had determined that the Sphinx aged by overlooking signs of erosion due to heavy rainfall. The deluge that eroded the Sphinx was uncommon in the Egyptian plateau 5,000 years ago, but very common 10 to 12,000 years ago. So this is what they're saying. Like the water erosion that come off the Sphinx, that come from time. That come from? That don't come from no year. That don't come from no year. That don't come from the flood and the what. Man, all that right there for them to see that now in 1992 from 12,000 years ago to date that. Come on, man, let's stop the cap right now. Let's keep going. All right, Pastor, what you mean, man? I don't like the smirk on your face, but I really don't like the fact that you got a cup of coffee on me, but I got you. You know what I'm saying? We even have prehistoric evidence. See the figure, this the figure in the picture right here. Y'all know my sources are on the screen. Eggs in the nest are of identified dinosaurs. When this nest was found and exposed, upper parts of the eggs were eroded away, so it was covered in plaster and turned upside down. Further preparations exposed the lower parts of the egg as shown. And the AMNH, that's American Museum of Natural History, .org, dinosaur egg. Nests of the dinosaur egg are found in several places around the world. And it is illogical that dinosaurs could have enough time to create these nests and lay their eggs while they were fleeing from rising waters to reach higher ground. Down another source at the bottom of the screen. So let's keep going. You know what I'm saying? We got prehistoric evidence. Yeah, I don't like y'all. Sis, get on him. Get on him. Let's go to some Grand Canyon facts. Let's go to some Grand Canyon facts right here. The stair-stepped appearance of erosion and sedimentary rocks in the Grand Canyon with sandstones and limestone forming cliffs and shells forming gentle slopes cannot happen if all these rocks were deposited in less than 1 year. What they saying is that if it was a worldwide flood in the Grand Canyon, all these sandstone rocks and all these limestone rocks, because limestone rocks, they're easy to chisel. They're real easy to use to scope things, to move, to maneuver. So it wouldn't take a lot of pressure. So if it was 1 year and these rocks was and all this sandstone was there, it couldn't put that much sandstone and limestone in this place within 1 year. So let's keep going. If the Grand Canyon had been carved soon after these rocks have been deposited by worldwide flood, they would not have the time to harden into solid rock.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Thank you, sister. They would have not been time to solid rock and would have been saturated with water. Therefore, the sandstones and limestone would have slumped into carving of the canyon and would not have formed cliffs like the form above up here. That's circling my 3D. You see how it slumped right here? That's what would have happened, and not at the bottom figure with the jaggeds. Water does not make 90-degree angles. Water does not make straight lines. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. I really want to. I'll get back to that one. Let me see if I can get to this next one and kill the game real fast. Okay. Well, you know what? I yield time. I'm going back. I yield time.
The brother said he yields. He yields time. All right. All right, brother.
All right, man. All right. Well, listen, man. That geological studies and the geological information concerning the sliding of rocks, Joshua, that's powerful. This is why this man is the middleweight champion of the Source Debate League, man. Let me make that extremely clear. If you thought it was going to be a cakewalk, you were sadly mistaken, all right? Understand that. All right? The Pastor Harassa, are you ready?
Gone.
Top of the third. This is the top of the third.
So is this the final presentation?
Yes.
Okay, Con. All right, well, let's get to it quick. So once again, the word deluge is an overflowing of water, such as great flood, as in Noah's flood in the book of Genesis. That's one thing I want to bring out. Secondly, again, using the correct words in our body of Hebrew is very important. All right, so the word ratzah, once again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Anybody can use the same resource, Blue Letter Bible. The word that's here is H776. It goes all the way down. And behold, I shall bring a flood upon the Ratzah. The Ratzah, one more time, it means the entire world. Correct content, I know, is very important. So let me go to it. Boom. Land, earth, whole earth, as opposed to a part. Done. So let's go ahead and go to the next part. I'm going to close that window real quick. We have a CIA file. For those of you who don't know, the CIA Central Intelligence Agency, they did an investigation. It was called the Mount Ararat Anomaly. All right. The Mount Ararat Anomaly, to where they investigated Noah's Ark and the deluge. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on it being regional or local, because that's a finished point. All right. So this file is public record, and I've shared it, and I will share it again. If anybody who would like to see it. So going back to showing how even the Hamite culture showed and proved that not only was one man and 7 people saved on a large ark, but that it covered the whole world. All right. The Aratzah, not a regional thing, as Me and Seth both agree to. Seth brought this up earlier. He did a really good job on it. This is the antediluvian, which means the pre-flood narrative. All right. And the pre-flood narrative in the story called the Epic of Gilgamesh, we see that there was a man who was a representation that was like Noah, which we know that the great flood goes back throughout all cultures. All right. So in this culture, we see that this flood happened, and the same thing, the same word is used. It's the word deluge. All right. Now, another beautiful part about it is that even in this, where the cuneiform letters or characters are being used, we see that the so-called ark is called the so-called Ark tablet. All right. Babylonian flood tablet. All right. Which shows us that the tradition is that the Armenian location of where the Ark of Noah is currently resting today happened in a universal flood upon mountains called Masses. And then you can see the cuneiform letters, characters over here. My source is down here at the bottom if anybody would like to look that up and find out the details of it. So again, even more showing that this is a worldwide event that happened that everybody knew about on the planet. All right. I think that outside from my opinion, whenever we can see that other cultures are all saying the same thing, and we should pay attention to that. There's not one culture on the planet, that doesn't know about a deluge, a great flood. Now let's revisit the resting place of Noah's Ark, which is in the location again, Turkey, Armenian. All right, and it tells us that when the rain ceased, that the water did, but just began to abate after 150 days. That is on the 7th day of the 7th month. It then ceasing to subside for a little while. After this, the ark rested on top of a certain mountain called Armenia. So not only proving that Noah's Ark is a real item, it's a real antiquity. All right. The deluge happened. And I don't care if a person believes that it was regional or local. I don't care. What I care about is actually seeing, okay, well, did this event happen? This event did happen. Okay, so that means that this book that spoke of it happened. Okay, so that means that this book that spoke of it also prophesied that there would be future events that would happen, which we've seen. Every prophecy that we've seen in the Bible up to this time frame has happened and come true. So the next thing that we'll be looking at is the destruction of the next world and the coming of HaMASHAYACH YAHAWASHI, which is what we want to protect ourselves from by getting back on the right path. Therefore, however, the Armenians called this place the place of descent, for the ark being saved in that place, its remains are shown there by the inhabitants to this day. All right. Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews. And it reads, now the sons of Noah were 3, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem, Japheth, and Ham, born 100 years before the deluge. This word is constantly being used. All right. So I'm not good at playing word games. I just say exactly what it is. I'm not accusing nobody of it. I'm just really good at being specific. All right. So the word deluge, again, anybody look it up for yourself. It means a global flood. These, first of all, descended from the mountains unto the plains, which Seth excellently spoke about, that after the deluge, that the waters assuaged and went down from the mountain of Ararat, and the people lived in the plains of Mesopotamia. All right. So, and fixed their inhabitations over there. Now, what we're looking at, in case you've never seen this in real life, is the actual ark that Yahweh saved 8 people on and that the world knows about. So this ark is currently resting on the top of the Mount Ararat, and the CIA Central Intelligence Agency, George A. Carver, 64, retired high-ranking Central Intelligence Agency officer who later made frequent appearances in the media, died of cardiac arrest June the 26th at North Aradun, hospital in Glen Burnie. He had a history of heart problems. Dr. Carver, pay attention to that name, look him up, because he's the one who actually did the files that we can get publicly now through the Freedom of Information Act. Now, this file I actually have saved up, which is this right here. This is the actual file from the Central Intelligence Agency, all right? And it has the records of the conversation of the CIA and proving that they were doing investigations, trips, and also assisting people in showing that Noah's Ark is an actual a relic. All right. Here's the location that it can be found in, and we'll look at that a little bit more later. But first, let's look more at the CIA. Dr. Carver, okay, so his credentials are there. Central Intelligence from 1973 to 1976. 1976 to 1979, personal representative for the director. So this man had clout, right? He was twice awarded both the Defense Department Distinguished Civilian Service Medal and the CIA's highest award, okay? So this man tells us that what they did was they used a satellite that's right here documented. It's called the QuickBird satellite, the world's highest resolution satellite, to photograph what they call, the CIA calls it the Ararat anomaly. All right. So the Ararat anomaly, he has said that he is 98% sure that this object is an ark because of the beams of wood, he said, were visible in the images. All right. Dr. Carver, once again, Central Intelligence, all right, CIA concealed traces of Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat for over 50 years, right? Now, here's this quote. Well, I don't recall the CIA working on Noah's Ark, but I do remember that at the time, there were some pictures taken and there were some clear indications that there was something up on Mount Ararat, which was rather strange. There was various archaeological expeditions that were mounted, and all of this information you can find right here in this disclosed document, all right, with the director of the CIA's signature on him. All right, so that link is also shared, so anybody can get that. I put the link in the top corner so you can get that for yourselves. All right, now we see he says it was rather strange that there was various the ark was rather strange. There were various archaeological expeditions that were mounted. Now I'm going to skip down to the highlighted part, being short on time. It was certainly another indication that despite its splendor and its work of poetry, what is he referring to? The Pentateuch. He's not referring to the Book of the Dead. He's not referring to the Quran. He's not referring to any other book but the Pentateuch. Listen to what he says. Despite its splendor and its work of poetry, the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, might not be at all bad as history also. All right. So working with the CIA, of course, he can't disclose everything, but the man gave enough information to say that the CIA not only was looking at, but has proven that there is an ark on top of it. Now let's look at some more information. These are actually recent pictures that was done within this time frame of wooden structures of people who have actually visited, been inside of Noah's Ark, and that you can get from declassified files from the CIA, including photos and videos. I don't have time to show the videos, but we do have them, and you can get them for yourself. I shared the resource at the first link. These expeditions were conducted not only with the support of the Turkish government agencies, but that of U.S. senators, congressmen, and other State Department at various times. In conjunction with the historical record of sightings regarding the Ark, past efforts have brought our current focus to bear upon 2 important sites near the summit of Mount Ararat. So going all the way from back to the beginning of the presentation, all the way up, we started at Genesis, the beginning, showed some historical references. Now we're in our time frame. To where we know that this actual event happened. The flood happened. I don't care if you think it's regional or not. YAHAWAH said it would happen. It did. The next thing that we have is the warning of another disastrous event that's going to happen, which is the coming of MASHAYACH YAHAWASHI. All right. So we see what witnesses have reported findings over the past 50 years. This is also one of 2 areas that has shown geometric shape of 90-degree angles. Do you know what that means? That means it's not made out of natural. It's not nature. Nature don't make things in 90-degree angles. These are perfectly cut wooden beams with pegs inside of them, encapsulated inside of ice on top of a mountain. Yeah, YAHAWAH did that. So what we also see is we see these large stone, these are called anchors. These are anchor stones that were found in the same region that was over 20 of them located taller than humans, most humans. All right. Now check this out. In the small town of Harassa in Turkey near Ararat, there may be over 20 spread out over the vast area. Each one of these 8 stones have 8 carved crosses. Many are half buried, clearly have been there for some time. Discovered over 15 years ago, they are believed by many to be anchor stones for Noah's Ark. They would have acted as stabilizers for the Ark. Now check this out. The translated name of this town, Harassa, it means 8. The town name is after 8 people that survived the flood. Lastly, we're going to look at a couple other images, and anybody can go back and screenshot this. You can share this. You can look at it for yourself. These are the topographical images of Noah's Ark. And if your eyes aren't familiar with it yet, I just encourage you to go back and look at it. The government of Turkey, the government of the United States, all of these governments, Russia knows about this. This is a worldwide event. Now, these are actual inside 90-degree angles and perfectly carved wood structures inside of a mountain. Closing warning. Here's my closing warning. Matthew chapter 24, verse 37 through 39. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage. We was having sex, all right, until the day that Noah entered the ark. I refuse to listen to anybody who could possibly get me and my family killed because they're an unbeliever. I would rather say, hey, believe just in case. And yeah, I'm going to say believe. Yeah, I'm going to say believe. And I encourage you all, go back and look at the evidence and proof, have something to stand on. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And there's the warning. All right, that's what we're looking at. Deuteronomy chapter 30, Acts chapter 3, and 1 John chapter 3 through verse 4. Our people weren't taught how to repent. The definition of sin is transgressing the law. So I'm here to tell you what your pastor didn't tell you. Learn how to stop sinning.
2 minutes.
Excellent.
2 minutes.
Come on, excellent. So let's yield it off on this. And that's exactly Ararat down. You got Noah's Ark. So this shape right here is the exact same picture that we've been looking at all this time. You can Google it for yourself. Okay, so this is the image of it. What happened was in 1980 or in the 1800s, one of those time frames. I apologize. There was an earthquake that happened on top of Mount Ararat. You can see it for yourself. This item right here was sitting up in this location. That's why there's multiple historical records of people taking images of it, including the U.S. military, to prove what? That this ark was a part of a great world deluge. All right, and with that, last thing that I have is hopefully, prayfully, I encourage the children of Israel to not only return to the law, statutes, and commandments of YAHAWAH, but to repent. Come back to our culture, understand what it is. And if even if you're not sure, YAHAWAH left proof, he left records, he left evidence of things that he did to destroy the first world. All right. So with that being said, Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1, it shall come to pass when all these things will come upon you, the blessings and the curse, which YAHAWAH has said before us, that we will call them to mind among all the nations where YAHAWAH sold us into slavery, including my brother Seth's family. All right. Our family were sold into slavery. All right. And if your family is a part of that great slave trade, then it's something to consider that you might be an Israelite. So repent, return, and with that, I yield the floor. Shalom.
All right. I want to make something clear concerning this debate right now, right? I want to make something clear. All right, so this comment was stated in the comment section by our dear brother James Cassell. James Cassell says, so it being local or global means everything. I want to make this clear. This debate is not about a global or local flood at all, family. This debate is the biblical narrative. It is the biblical narrative of the flood historical. Okay, that's the debate. Is the biblical narrative of the flood historical? That's what this debate is. All right, so I wanted to make sure that was made clear. Joshua, are you there?
Yeah, man. I seen a few points he was making. The brother was harping on the word historical. I saw that a lot, man. That brother made sure that he was like, hey, the title says historical. My sources say historical. So, hey, yo, congruency and consistency, man. That's all I can say, my brothers.
That's right, man. We in the bottom of the third round, man. Again, this is what this is all about, man. Right? This is the so-called hot seat when it comes to this elimination chamber tournament, and the winner will receive $500 in a shot at the Source Debate League Heavyweight Championship. King Seth, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm ready. All I want to say is, man, is that hey, the debate is the biblical narrative of the flood. The biblical narrative of the flood is the world. Regional is not the world. So let me get into it. So let me see. Hold on. Let me start. Hold on. Let me share let's see. Am I sharing my screen right now?
Yes.
Y'all can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So I looked this up while the brother was talking. Admitting Noah's Ark hoax. Television. A man who claimed on CBS special to have located the Ark now says it was a setup. The man who said he discovered a snow-covered location of Noah's Ark high on Mount Ararat in Turkey and who displayed what he claimed to be an ancient piece of wood from inside the Ark as proof of the CBS special earlier this year now says it was a hoax. George Zamir, an out-of-work Israeli actor living in North Long Beach, admitted in an interview this week that he made up the story to expose those who produce and broadcast what he considers to be poorly researched religious propaganda. Presented with the information by the time, CBS decided Friday to scrap two projects that were the development of the Sun International Pictures, the Salt Lake City-based production company, made a credible discovery Nork, with CBS broadcast in February to an estimated 20 million viewers. Now, which I can do, man, y'all can look on YouTube, y'all can look it up. I mean, y'all can Google it. All y'all gotta do is just Google Noah's Ark hoax, just in anywhere, and it's gonna pull up. Now, let's go back to my presentation. Now, can y'all see my screen? I mean, y'all see my screen. Tell me what y'all see. Y'all see Grand Canyon Facts? Hello? Do y'all see Grand Canyon Facts?
Yes. It's on the screen, brother.
Okay. All right, so we gonna go. My young sister, she been up there hitting that research. Let's go. Geology of the Grand Canyon National Park by geology and ecology of National Park. Paleozoic strata contains many fossils that help scientists learn about the geological history of North America. Most of the fossils are ocean-dwelling creatures, telling us that the area now in the middle of Arizona was once a sea. Some of the most common fossils found in the Grand Canyon are listed below. You got the trilobites, you got the tracks and burrows, and you got the brachiopods. Now, what I'm gonna say is that what this is telling us is that these was there before anything. These was there before Noah's flood, undisturbed. These were undisturbed fossils. Like no flood came through, no nothing like this. It used and like just like I showed y'all the water erosion on the Sphinx because it was there when the Sahara was a tropical place. It was the same way with these. This when Arizona had a sea. So when you go out there, you find sea bearing fossils. So ain't no 1 year flood brought none of this. Signs you turn your back. Look, the pastor he didn't turn his back on us. You know what I'm saying? But the skeleton that jumped out his body, he spooked. Now watch this. This is by Luke Lancaster, St. Peter Institute. Like I say, my sources on the screen. Hyperbolic language within Genesis 6:9 is seemingly scattered throughout Genesis 6:5 says that every person on the earth only had evil thoughts. Such a statement does not mean that every person on earth literally had zero good thoughts. Noah himself is portrayed as righteous 6-9, Genesis 6-5. Then should be interpreted hyperbolically with the literal meaning in actuality being that many people are habitually thinking evil thoughts. Genesis 6-15 also appears to be exaggerated, for it speaks of a boat that Noah called the ark that possesses gigantic proportions. The length is 300 cubits length. That is comparable to the size of 1.5 football fields. No wooden boat in human history, even modern, has been made to this size. So the size of the ark could have been exaggerated. Another example is Genesis 7:19, which says that the word that there was a worldwide flood, like he keeps saying, a worldwide flood that covered the highest mountains on the earth. That will be tens of thousands of feet of water, which is a mind boggling amount of water. Also, the world for the ancient peoples did not include places like Madagascar or North America, but only the world that they knew. Abraham lived in Mesopotamia, so his ancestor Noah would have probably lived in Mesopotamia as well. The world to the ancients then would have been Mesopotamia. If a region localized flood occurred within the Mesopotamian world, then it likely would have been described as a hyperbolic language. This is similar to St. Paul, who refers to the world typically in reference to the Roman Empire, which mainly encompasses the Mediterranean countries. See, that's what I'm saying. See, y'all want to keep saying the world, the world, the world. No, if y'all would have argued it would have been a regional flood, it would have been different. I would have gave you that. I would have said, yeah, it's a regional flood. But you saying the whole world. No, it's no evidence of that. It's no geology behind it. It's no science behind it. It's nothing behind it. You can't say the world. You can use whatever word you want to use in Hebrew, like you just said. You keep using the word. You keep trying to use the Hebrew to try to debunk what I'm saying, but you just add to it more, killing yourself. Because you keep saying world, world. You keep saying the earth, the whole earth. You're not saying you're not even using the word world like that, like I used the definition when you say the ancient world. You're not even using it like that. You saying the whole earth. Just like when I did in round one, challenging the basic laws of physics. The ship would have been too big for its structure to support itself. According to shipbuilding experts, among them, see the pastor heart beating. You know what I'm saying? This is my source right here. AM Bribe. There's an upper limit to the possible length of the wood that give at any given wooden ship. Anything above 300 feet will start to bend and deform under its own weight when put to the T. The natural wood, this just the nature of wood. That's why all ships that even come close to the size are made of iron and steel. Shipbuilders turned to more resistant materials in the 1800s, not because it was more practical, but because such large wooden ships aren't simply, or would it say such large wooden ships are simply impossible to make. Simply impossible to make straight of the sea and actual navigation. Consider that large wooden ships ever built are six-mast schooners require long iron strappings to support them. These ships, even the modern day ships, to even last on this type of in this type of violent weather, it had metal strippings. Let's go down to even though, and even these couldn't resist the lasting voyage, even in shallow water, let alone the violent conditions of a flood, and that the ark supposedly over 100 feet, even in these, God must have provided a constant miracle to keep the ship together, or give no instructions on how to build such a structure through a long forgotten technique. That's the only way. That's the only way that this could have built. Just according to us first. Now, see, this what happened. This probably what the story that happened in the ancient myth, and this is before Noah. So you saying you don't care what time, you don't care what we count it. Now you gotta care because you giving a specific time. You giving it for a specific people. You saying a specific thing. You giving a specific narrative. So if you giving a specific narrative, you better pinpoint it. Like you just said, the biblical narrative. You ain't say nothing about Samaria. You ain't say nothing about Assyria. You ain't say nothing about India. You ain't say nothing about that. You said the biblical narrative. Now I'm debunking your biblical narrative as wrong. The whole world, like your Bible said, was not flooded. It was a regional place, just like I'm finna show on this map. What happened during the flood? The watershed for the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers, on which of the flood could have occurred, extends for more than 1,600 kilometers from the Persian Gulf through the Mesopotamia into Syria and Turkey, and laterally for about 1,000 kilometers from eastern Saudi Arabia to the southwestern Iran, and the area more than 1.6 million square meters, and of the bases, if abundant rain fell, not only in the mountains of Syria and Turkey, but also in the Saudi Arabia and Iran, the tributary streams of these countries would all contribute their volumes of water into the floodplains of the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. Now, if y'all didn't understand what it says, this is what it says. Let me hide that right here. Let me hide. Now see, it's a map showing the elevation contours of the Euphrates and the Tigris River. Now, let me see. Hold on. Let me blow it up real fast. You understand me? That's not certain. All right. Nah, dang. Let me go back. All right. Now, if y'all can see one point that it say Iran. It say Iran, Syria. You got Saudi Arabia, the Tigris River right here. If y'all see it, they say the Tigris River right here. This the Persian Gulf. This right here is the Euphrates right here. What they saying is, if it's heavy rainfall right here in Iran, if it's heavy rainfall right here in Syria, if it's heavy rainfall maybe right here, but if it's heavy rainfall in Syria, Turkey, Iran, and all these places right here, the water run down the mountain. So it's going to flood the Tigris. It's going to flood the Euphrates. It's going to flood all this area encompassed in this little triangle right here. If y'all can understand what I'm saying. Because this is flat. Saudi Arabia down here is flat. It's going to run all the way down here. Because this is the lowest part of the land. And this is where all the people live. So, of course, it will be a regional flood. This is the same thing that happened in Katrina. In Katrina, it was not the world. What was it? It was a regional flood that happens almost every year, just like they're saying. Now let's go. Continue for previous slide. Normally, in lesser storms, most water runoff would have come primarily from the mountains of Syria and Turkey, like I just said, and not also from Saudi Arabia and Iran. During the flood upstream, where water first accumulates, the depth of the water and the floods of the plains may be barely over the tops of natural leaves. But downstream, the water piles up. See, downstream, the water piles up because it does not flow very fast downhill on nearly flat surface, because as you get further closer to Saudi Arabia, the land gets more flatter. So y'all know water don't really run that fast on flat land. So it pools. You know what I'm saying? Until it finds somewhere to go, which is the Persian Gulf. You see what I'm saying? Okay, watch this. Therefore, downstream water depths could reach 32 meters or more above the tops of the levees. Just like what happened in Katrina. The water got so above the levees that it flooded it's the same exact thing. This increase, but it's not a worldwide flood like the narrative goes. That is the name of the debate. Is the biblical narrative of the flood historical? No, it's not. Let's keep going. I need to get. Oh, that's the inconsistency. Yeah, the inconsistencies. How long did the flood last? For 40 days and 40 nights. Every Christian will surely reply, but this isn't what Genesis tells us, or rather it isn't. The flood lasted 40 days according to Genesis 7 and 17, but for 150 days according to Genesis 7 and 24. This is one of several inconsistencies in the biblical account. Nor did Noah take two of every animal into the ark, or rather again, he did and he didn't. In Genesis 7:2, God tells Noah to take 7 of every clean beast, and of the beasts there are not clean or 2 in the male and the female. This contradicts what had been said in Genesis 6:19. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort.
2 minutes.
2 of every sort shall be bringing into the ark. That same go with every fire. So we see inconsistencies with it. You know what I'm saying? They got nothing to show for it at all. They have no history. The flood was supposed to be an event of magnitude that wreaked havoc. Where's the evidence? Now, see, I need to get to the conclusion. You see what I'm saying? Pastor at the end is heart beating. You know what I'm saying? In conclusion, Thomas D. Huxley, he said, the great tragedy of science, the slaying of a beautiful hypothesis by an ugly fact. Any one of the above 21 facts destroys the idea of a Noah's flood was a worldwide occurrence. Nevertheless, a local long flood in Mesopotamia in biblical times could have been possible. Young earth creationists commonly point out that Jesus supported the existence of a Noah's flood, but in the context of the time in which Jesus lived, the translations of the Hebrew word eretz have been understood as land and not the whole world. In that sense, all of the land that Noah could have normally seen of the underwater was in Mesopotamia. But so I want to stop right there on the reading. I'll come back to it if I can. But I want to say this: it's not the narrative. The narrative of Noah's flood is the whole earth. The whole earth. not just a regional. You can't block that out. You can't just say, oh, I'm not arguing the regional. You have to. Because you're claiming and you're backing up that the Bible narrative is a fact, that it was the whole world, like it said, like it was the whole earth. So you haven't brought no point to say anything about that it was the whole world. But yeah, you're right. You gave me points. You argued my point the whole time. You're right. It didn't say regional. It said the whole world. And I proved my point that it was not the whole world by facts, based on evidence. You based yours on Pascal's wager, on I'd rather believe than not believe. You based yours on faith and belief. I'm basing mine on facts, homeboy.
Time. That's time.
Hey, Jeremiah. The title is everything, brother. The title is everything. Yeah.
The title is everything, brother. Listen, throughout this whole thing, throughout all the preliminaries, every single one of them, we told everybody that you better pay very close attention to the title. And you need to stay focused on that point. Hey, Joshua, this is all to make these brothers better, man.
Big facts. Big facts.
Right? So, hey, we are in the transitioning phase. That is the end of the presentation segment of the debate, correct?
Yes, they completed all 3 rounds. They completed all 3 rounds.
Now it's about to get hot. It's about to get hot, man. All right. What kind of segment they got? They got a 10-minute segment, or they got 5 questions? What segment?
No, Q&A. They chose 3 questions. Q&A segment just with 3 questions.
Now I'm gonna lie, man. Yes, if you ask a yes or no question, that's just gonna piss me off, man. I'm telling you right now. You ask, is the sky blue outside? Yes. That's it. That's the end of your question. That's it. You accomplished absolutely nothing. Okay.
Salakia. So it's 1 minute.
Man, what you mean, man? My yes or no questions gonna get to the point, boy.
Bro. Mute your mic, bro. Let us run this show, sir. Go ahead, sis.
It's 1 minute to ask the question and then 2 minutes to answer the question, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that was Joshua. Joshua made that up. I don't know what the hell he was thinking about with that concept there. But hey, it is what it is. Like that.
Without rules and structure, you have chaos. With that being said, who went first?
Right.
Pastor Harassa went first. So, yeah, he's going to go. Pastor Harassa is going to be the first person to give out the questions. His 3 questions to King Seth.
Con?
You got it, bro. You got it.
All praise. All right, shalom. So my first question is, what is the subject of this debate, Seth?
The subject of this debate is the narrative of the biblical flood.
Okay, the water. All right. My next question is, was the flood local or global?
Local.
My next question is there a difference between world and earth according to the text, or according to, I'm always gonna speak from Hebrew perspective. Is there a difference between earth and world?
Do you want to get, if I say yes, do you want me to give you an explanation, and I can give you a scripture, and I can give you all that to
if you say yes,
answer?
I'm sorry, go ahead. My bad. What are you saying?
I'm saying, will you allow me to elaborate if I say yes?
Baba Kushah, please.
Okay, So yes, just for the simple fact that if you have the understanding, and I have the understanding that when I used to be a Hebrew Israelite, when you look at John 3:16, and he says that Jesus came to give his life to the whole world. He wasn't speaking about the whole world. He was just speaking about the Israelite world. So when you're dealing with world and earth, you're dealing with two different things. When you're dealing with the whole earth, like it says in the text, then you're dealing with the whole earth, all of mankind, like it speaks early in the text in scriptures before. So when you're dealing with that, you have to deal with the narrative and not what you, because it doesn't say world. It says the earth, all of mankind. I yield.
That was my 3 questions.
All right, it's on you, King Seth. You got the floor to give Pastor Harassa 3 questions.
Do you agree? Do you agree that the text and the context of the text means that it's the whole world?
I believe that it says the whole world based off of the text and reading it in Hebrew.
Okay, so since that's a yes, do you believe that since the Bible says that it's the whole world, that it means North America, Canada, South America, means the whole world was flooded and not just regional, like I pointed out and I brought evidence?
Will you allow me to explain?
Yes.
Excellent. Proverbs chapter 8 is the spirit of wisdom. All right. The spirit of wisdom tells us that she rejoiced with the creator in the beginning. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 26, it says, I'll be very brief, as quick as I can. It says, while yet I was with him, he made the earth, nor the fields, nor the heights of the world. And then verse 29, it says, and he gave the seas his decree that the water should not pass or go past his commandments when he appointed the foundation of the earth. And the last verse 31, she says, rejoicing in the habitable part of the earth. The 2 words that are there are different between earth and world. Habitable is the word that I used earlier. All right. The word that I used earlier was the Baal. The Baal is region, or it's only where people can live at. But since we can't live everywhere on the entire Aratzah, the word Aratzah is the word that's used in Genesis when he said he would flood the entire Aratzah. So there absolutely is a difference, and knowing the difference in which Hebrew word is there really matters. So Aratzah is the word that's used for the entire planet, not just the region or an inhabitable space. I yield.
This is my last and final question. Do you think science can determine what happened in history?
I think the Bible is true science, and some science is theoretical. That's my opinion, and I don't think theories stand.
I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you
okay.
that.
That's fine.
I didn't ask you. That's cool. I said, do you think? I asked you, do you think science can tell what happened in history?
I do.
Okay, cool. I'm done.
All right. I want to make this clear real quick. Joshua, are you there?
Yes, sir.
From this point forward, there will be no more 3 or 5 questions. I mean, I just don't understand how that helps. And then it's isolated. And the explanation, a brother can expound upon that. I want to see the brothers engage. All right? So we're going to do, this is already done. So moving forward, man, we're going to do 10-minute interrogations, man, moving forward. All right? So there you have it, folks. There you have it.
Woo! Man, that sound like a Hebrew hating. Real talk. That's what it sound like, man. Real talk. Don't hurt her. Don't hurt her. Look at him trying to make up rules. See, that's just how these Jews do. That's just how y'all get out. Real talk.
Mute your mic. We don't want to give you a TKO, brother. We don't want to give you a TKO, brother.
Right. Mute your filthy mic, man. All right, folks. Joshua, it's that
all
time.
Right.
Palms sweating, brother. Palms are sweating.
Man.
Hey, let me make this clear, man. This is your life in the elimination chamber. This is that moment. Palms are sweaty. You're going to hear that first judge. You might be finished with the second judge. Who knows? Right, Joshua?
Yeah.
It might be over for thou. Right? So it's on you, Joshua. Let's get it.
All right. So for the brothers that haven't judged on the source yet, we want you to DM me your pick. And then I'll call on you and then you explain the brother you picked and why. So my brother Dunami, Dublin, and Kyng, DM me your pick. If you got my email your pick, or on Clubhouse, DM me your pick. And as soon as I start getting the picks in, I'm going to call you brothers to the panel, and you're going to give your explanation on who you got winning and why. All right? So send that in now.
All right, while we wait, man, did you get that, what I sent you?
You sent, where do you send it? My Facebook or phone?
Text message.
All right.
Elimination Chamber, $500 on the line. Your life moving forward in the Elimination Chamber tournament is up for grabs, right? This is that moment. This is the ladder match, right? Climbing the ladder to see who's going to go home with the gold, right? This is what it's all about right here, man. And this is what makes the difference. We don't deal with rhetoric matches here at the source because we don't give out glass trophies here at the source. Understand that. Joshua.
Yeah, you got to send it to me again. I didn't get it.
Right.
While we wait on that, Dublin, if you can just please email me or send it to me on Clubhouse. And Jeremiah, send it to my Facebook, please.
All right.
All right. I got
it's in the executive room. Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm still waiting on Kyng, and I'm waiting on Dublin to send in their picks so we can break that down. But while we wait, we have a brief intermission. Jeremiah, you didn't send me anything, brother. Maybe it's on my end.
It's in the executive room.
All right, there it is now. I just got it. All right, I'm going to load that up, let that play while we wait on these picks.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Pro Rizzo 1. Pro Rizzo 1 says over for thou. Suck that nigga.
Someone's saying they blocked, and I don't know what they're talking about, Jeremiah. I guess we'll address that after the show.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
I'll let you know. All right, brothers, we're going to have a brief intermission while we wait on the judges.
It's wartime. Let's go. Just one more time it is, huh? It ain't fire at the enemy, you feel me? Let's go. Brand is real. All praise to MASHAYACH. We don't bruise, we don't bruise, boy, ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the heat. All praise to MASHAYACH. Ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the heat. It's not the idea, yeah, I'm about to go off. The water, YAHAWAH, yeah, I'm about to show off. Giving them the scriptures so vivid, I'm on a mission. But they ears itching, they gon' listen or even pay attention. Yeah, they looking for some change that we ain't even got. Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of our enemies. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We the chosen. Take the lead. I just take the lead. I don't give them too much. I always give them what they really need. We set flames to our enemy. Obadiah 1:10. Okay, I'm riding for my brothers and my sisters through the trenches. Oh yeah, I gotta get it. Shout out to my brethren in the penitentiary. You gotta remember your history. Isaiah 1:3. We don't bruise. We don't bruise, boy, ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the heat. Ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the heat. What you need? I got what you need. John 8:32. You know that the truth is set you free, right? Super hard. I be going super hard. My Israelite brothers say I'm stupid. Please excuse my Jerusalem attitude, but waking up the oppressed nation something I gotta do. Oppressed for over 400, keep it 100. Who really want it? It's be Israel, AOY and NYMG, and we're not stopping. We just make it happen. Shalom to the brothers, what's cracking? The fact is the passion they lacking for the truth that we passing. I'm laughing. I just get in the booth of that spasm. It's tragic. It's like a hazard without the magic. I'm quarterback in this Hebrew with the latest fashion. Brian Israel, I got the French touching your doormat. Ready, aim, fire. We don't bruise. We don't bruise. Boy, ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the heat. Ready, aim, fire on the enemy. One love, one nation, one nation. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face Israel, the end has been revealed. The land removed the second seal, and power have been given to a man on a red horse that they should kill. The blood spilled, body shield, when the weapon reach shall prosper against us on this battlefield. Saints righteous breastplate, my faith used as my shield. My hands shall not faint into the ways I will not yield. To add our feet, the faces of our enemies nail. To lick the dust from my boots, we ready to aim and shoot. Race wars, bringing out the dinosaurs. Blood on teeth of the bone, we might look like the mouth of a dinosaur. Even you are kind of sore. Nothing I desire more, but to see the end of this evil kingdom that I abhor. And it's only the end of the world, just keep calm. Please press harder for the sons and daughters of YAHAWAH. Dead bodies, I'll be more than happy to tread upon. Warrior garment worn, sword drawn, the war is on. We don't bruise, we don't bruise, boy, ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the heat. Ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the heat. Sport tweaking, war bringing, we fighting now. Visual activity known to bring the fighters out. Real warriors, use your formula wildin' out. Put the army on notice they filing now. Ain't no running for Eastside, we on an island now. Pulling swords, metaphors, cause we shooting now. Do
gon' lay him down. We shooting for his dome, we don't play around. You can just read the headline. War stories for the bedtime. Start the war by the deadline. Leave them dead with no jail time. This is nothing more, casualties of war. We here to take revenge, is what we looking for. We leave them greasy. Please believe me, never take it easy. We chase the gauntlets. When we catch them, we start to stomp it. When we win, this the song they gonna be bumping. Celebrate your damn death. When the bruise step through, you thinking it's an earthquake, calling on a higher power. You feel the earth shake. You call this America, but this ain't really your birthplace. We taking it back, in the worst way. There's nothing you can do, you gon' feel when you see the power in the hand of a man with melanin that take their leg in there for your head. Dead president, like the doctor gets the truth in medicine. You finish, so take a look around. All them bros mean my dick. All them bros mean my dick. All them bros mean my dick. Coming with the dozen, we coming with the dozen. Oh, we coming with the dozen. Coming with the extraterrestrial that sends of the sea, the stars of the sky, the celestial. When we running, we ready to pick a spot for survival and aiming entire clip at your end pocket and fire. Check me. We don't bruise, we don't bruise, boy, ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the east. Ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the east. 37 special forces sniper from the Eiffel Tower. I can hit your eye and show you just what you need to know. Like Moses said, let my people go. So the big thunder with purpose, all of my calls were urgent. We the people that been beat up by the heathens. Pretty soon we get in the lead with the feet up. Living the life of luxury where you just not working as ugly. Now it's just to be struggling, no mobile juggling. You can go get the bucket and carry your 5 miles on your head from a water bed. You human, how it's been a minute, so we the see her. Until the sun truck down some mama sees her. All of the lilies, yeah, living the sweet dust. But it starts with us, warriors and army, yeah. Government represents the brotherly love to the Jew, be the truth to the Gentile slug. I don't care if it's Trump or Hillary, right? They catch all of them to the body, ready, and fire. Head to the next one for adversaries for the truth. I'm very revolutionary. If you ain't ready to die for it, YAHAWASHI said your ass is scary. This MYMG, we be beast to beast with AOI. We pray for the death of our enemies every day. Don't ask me how, cause I'm gonna tell you what's in every way. Car crash, strangulation, asphyxiation, decapitation. I don't care what the cost of them all for them all, just as long as the heart came from my nation. We don't bruise, we don't bruise, boy, ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the east. Ready, aim, fire on the enemy. Yeah, I wish I said they remember me. We beat them bruised and we face the east. Ready, aim, fire on the enemy.
All right. All right, I guess we're going
That time, man. Let's go.
The crowd was loving that.
We got all the judgments in. Jeremiah, you got anything else you want to do before we proceed?
Let's get to it, man. The time is now.
Man, I feel sorry. For our brother King Seth, man. You know, I'm gonna have to drive to Dallas, take this brother belt from him. All right, let's go to the judges, man. I want to mix it up. I want to start off with my brother Adam K, aka Dublin. Can you give your pick and explain why you picked your pick?
Over for the.
Thanks for the debate, gentlemen, and yeah, very informative, engaging. My pick was King Seth. While the arguments to the affirmative were compelling within the confines of the Bible, and what the Bible says, I think that the main thrust of the argument for the affirmative suffered from begging the question fallacy. Because basically only the Bible was used to affirm the argument made. There were a couple of non-biblical points to reinforce the argument, specifically the historical reports made by Berosus, Nicholas, and Marco Polo. But in two of those three examples, for example, Berosus, the account is an anecdotal fallacy, because it says, quote, "It is said there is still some part of the ship." In the case of Nicholas of Damascus, it states, quote, "It is reported that." So this is a anecdotal fallacy. I think in round one, there was also the appeal to emotion fallacy, persuading people to agree with the argument, not based on evidence, rather the consequences of not accepting the argument, i.e. eternal damnation, right? Which is an appeal to emotion. This is further reinforced with an appeal to nature fallacy, that because sodomy is not considered natural and good, the flood was justifiable and thus true. I think that on for the negative, for Kyng's arguments, citing a variety of sources or narratives of other flooding accounts does lend credence to the idea that a flood or floods could have occurred. But the issue is that said accounts, where in some instances may be similar, do contradict the specifics of the biblical narrative. And that goes to the round 2 point that that was made, that the biblical account is the authority over the other flooding stories. In the positive, it was made, the point was made that the biblical account is the authority because those who gave the story and the account descend from the lineage of Shem. This is what's called a genetic fallacy. So that's an issue as well. Also, and it was also made, the point was made that there was, for example, the Egyptian story of a flood, but I believe the illustration that was offered demonstrated 8 people on the boat, not 1, as in the story of Noah. So there is an example of where while there is a similar story of a flood, that the details contradict each other. I think also in the negative, there was a variety of sources, geological, archaeological, and biblical, to reinforce the argument for the negative. And again, I think the affirmative basically only had biblical arguments to make. The example of the CIA report, it was, the quote was, "There were clear indications there was something on Mount Ararat." That something isn't definitively a boat. And then also, while 98% suggests strong likelihood that the person in question in the report believes that what was shown in the photograph was wood, there is a minimal measure of doubt in that claim. It isn't an absolute definitive claim. There is a degree of doubt. I I'm going to make this point, but I don't. This didn't ultimately determine my decision, because there wasn't a point raised within the debate itself to the contrary. But I know based on research and my own observations that indeed there are 90-degree angles that are found in nature. The Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland is an example of this. But because there was no argument to the contrary in that, I can't let that color my judgment. And just as a point of for future debates, I do agree as well. I think the question and answer period, it would be perhaps not just more entertaining but more enlightening to have a something more robust in exchange rather than a simple question and answer. I think that even though I understand, like, to try to maintain decorum, it's this way is probably the best way. I didn't think that much was added to the debate in the question and answer period, save the one question regarding the affirmative accepting that science can tell what happened in history. And I think that if the affirmative had been able to use information and sources beyond the Bible and including science to reinforce his arguments, that could have changed my decision. And I think that was really the main issue I find with the arguments made in the affirmative, that it had a number of logical fallacies, but in particular the begging the question fallacy, that because the Bible says it to be true, it is thus true, independent of anything else. So yeah, that's my my summary and my decision. Thank you again for having me.
Man, Jeremiah, we got one for the books. I want to address somebody real quick. One for King Seth. Son said he's going too long. He needs a timer. But I can't please you, brothers, because I was told last night, Jeremiah, that the judges need to explain. They explain more. I had to set up a private session with a brother so they can give their explanation. So I would rather you go long and give a thorough, breakdown or assessment of your pick, so you guys can't say anything and don't hit my inbox after the judgment. Okay, so we're gonna move on.
I agree.
We're gonna move on and go to our brother Dunami.
First vote for King Seth.
Yeah, so my vote, I want to commend the brother Isaiah Yasharala. He wanted to spread his faith. He wanted to warn people of coming times. So I commend the brother. But in terms of debate, my vote goes for King Seth. Reason being, some of the things that the earlier brother pointed out.
You're on mute, Dunami.
Yeah, sorry, it was getting loud around me. Yeah, so some of the things that the brother pointed out, Adam K., in terms of the argument, some of the fallacies. Then too, like even with the warnings that the brother pointed out, Pastor Harassa, like with homosexuality, he's using a biblical narrative, but he's not using any kind of archaeological findings, any kind of like things to tie into how that was the science of the time, going with the debate. But that doesn't really appeal into what the main argument is. It's just that's one thing noted. He used more biblical and more colloquial evidence, while King Seth used more diversity of sources, the science and whatnot. However, I do say with some of King Seth's sources like Guy.com and an article by Linda, I did find them to be weak. However, I'm not in the debate, so it was for Pastor Harassa to bring those things up about some of the sources that he was using. So that's where my vote goes for King Seth. That he was clear cut in his source. It was succinct where it said the flood wasn't historical. So from his definitions and what he presented, his argument was clear cut leading to the conclusion. So yeah.
All right, man. That's 2 for King Seth Jeremiah.
And then the third round, even if he's saying that the ark, the fact that they said it was a Mesopotamian story too, he has to be Pastor Harassa had to be clear cut to say that the biblical story is the only story that had Mount Ararat. He said it had it in there, but how do I know from what King Seth presented that it was the only story? So I feel like he didn't really speak to the doubts that King Seth had presented.
All right, man. All right. That's 2 for King Seth. So he will be moving on. Pastor Harassa will be eliminated from the tournament, but we're going to go to the last judge. But I just want to say this first. King Seth, before you glory and revel in your victory, the brother did say one of your arguments was weak. I just want to put that on notice. I want everybody to know that he did say that. So let's move on to
Yeah. Y'all let
Man,
this
stop
low
count.
down
Man, stop
dirty
count.
dog
Stop count.
pass in this tournament, man. Hold on. Let me say this, man. Y'all let this low down spanking Texas rattlesnake move on in my tournament, man. What is going on with you judges, man?
I just had to point that out there, let it sting for a minute. He did say one of the arguments was weak. But anyway, we're going to move on.
Nah, man, hold on. Now, hold on. Y'all ain't finna move on, man. Y'all playing games. Y'all playing games, man. Real man. Y'all playing games. Y'all playing games. Hold on, man. Y'all playing real games. Real talk.
I don't make the news. Hey, listen. I don't make the news, brother.
Hey, King Seth, I want this same debate, me and you, sucker nigga. You ain't getting away with this, okay? Understand this.
I ain't doing it twice, chump. I would.
Me and you, understand this, man.
Hey,
I ain't doing it. You gonna put your belt up? Put your belt up.
Let's get the last judge, y'all. Let's get the last judge. You know I got to throw a shot at you, King Seth. Anyway, the last judge is Kyng.
First of all, it was a great debate. Enjoyed it. I think both parties made excellent points. King Seth got my vote in this. I think he did an excellent job. Well, obviously, of arguing his point and showing his stance using multiple sources, scientific and other scientific, as well as other facets. I did think that Isaiah made some good points, but I agree with Adam that a lot of it was on appeals. There's really nothing I can say that hasn't been said already. Just great debate all around, but King Seth took it in my eyes.
All right, man. So listen, I want to say this real quick, right? Y'all got to be outside of y'all mind. Y'all do realize.
Yeah, what you want to say? Yeah, what you want to say, Tom? What you want to say? Go hurt him.
Y'all do realize.
What you want to say? Go hurt him. Yeah.
Y'all do realize that King Seth showed multiple civilizations with a flood story.
Yeah.
So
what that mean, sucker? What you mean? You don't want that, man. Y'all want that smoke.
If the flood story is regional, how could this story appear in all of these other civilizations?
Just like it happened in Katrina, bro. That's a regional flood.
So nobody's talking about Katrina in Chicago, Negro. What the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly. Crazy.
Because
man, so I ain't got this belt. Put your belt up, jump. Put it up, jump. Yeah. Hold on, man. I was looking real ugly. I had to turn the camera off, man.
Hey, hold on real quick, Jeremiah. Hold on, Jeremiah said Hurricane Katrina in Chicago. When did that happen?
Listen what I'm saying.
That'll be a story with a tale. That was the whole earth for some people in Chicago. That was the whole world.
Listen to what I'm saying.
I didn't know Hurricane Katrina happened in Chicago. Yeah, y'all teaching me something.
All I need, what you mean? Listen to what you're saying.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Partner lost. I love him to death, but your partner lost. So that means you will lose too, nigga.
No, so go ahead.
Let me make this clear, right? What I'm saying.
Don't talk. Don't say nothing, nigga.
Let me make this clear of what I'm saying, right?
You already made it clear.
If you have a flood story in China, which you do, right? And if the flood story was regional, how are they speaking of a flood story in China, right? And also in the so-called Middle East, in the Levant, concerning a flood in the Mesopotamian region. So you're saying you're spanning a flood from China to the Mesopotamian region according to the sources.
Hold
on. Let me finish, bro. Let me finish.
You already finished. Shut up. This is my debate. You ain't finna take over my debate. This is my time.
Now let me make this clear. So that's why I said, Joshua, they're not complaining in Chicago about a flood that happened in Louisiana. They're not saying that same flood also happened in Chicago or New York or California. In the same way you having that in China and Mesopotamia.
But the brother answered that. He said pretty much there's floods everywhere. So there would be flood stories everywhere because floods happen everywhere. He said that in his first round. So I'm not gonna be shiesty here and say he didn't.
And then too, one thing with the floods too is that it's just a presentation because Isaiah 1% more of a theological. The flood happened because of God, and I would put too much on the flood. He want to go his more evidence to focus on the ark, not the flood.
Hey, brother, don't you believe in the Bible?
Yeah.
What that got to do with the price of rice? Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's better evidence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nah, Jeremiah. You got to take that L with your homeboy. This 2 times he done lost.
All right, man. Congratulations.
I love my brother Karata Zayah. I respect him to the fullest. But Karata Zayah, when it comes to this debating, bro, I'm going to beat your ass every time, brother.
Hey, what's his new name? Finesse 2 times? We gonna call him
Finesse 2 times, man. I like it.
All right, man. Is Karate Zayah still here? Would you like to give a closing statement, Karate Zayah?
Pastor Harassa, are you there?
Oh yeah, Salak Leah. I had it on mute. Khan. Yeah, but I come here. Shalom.
Khan, would you like to give a closing statement?
Salak, I didn't hear the last thing you said. What'd you say?
Would you like to give a closing statement?
Yeah, Khan, absolutely. Here, let me see. All right, so Salak, Thawada, I had a really good time, man, putting together a presentation. This was my first time doing that, so I appreciate everybody that helped me with it, and I learned a lot, So Thawada, One West salute to all of the brothers and sisters of the Source Debate League. My always closing statement is make sure you keep the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, and fear MASHAYACH YAHAWASHI. All right, conversion and repentance is very important for each and every one of us. Acts chapter 3, verse 19, it says, "Repent ye, therefore, and be converted, that your sins may be blotted out when the time of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Alahaya." All right. So if you lost your way, if you've gone out of the way, if you haven't come to the way, which is the knowledge of the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, I encourage you. It's the best walk that you can possibly take. Everything else is, I've tried it, I've done it. Everything else is it's a waste of time and it's fake. And that's my personal stance because this is the only thing that can't be disproven for what I've seen. So with that being said, I encourage everybody, keep the law, statutes, commandments. If you don't know them, then get with somebody who knows them. All right, you can contact me. My name is Isaiah Yasha'Allah, same name on YouTube, same name on Facebook. I'm a public servant of MASHAYACH Yasha'Allah, the government of Israel. All right, and my objective is to help brothers and sisters who want to have a relationship with the Most High to do what Matthew chapter 18, verse 3 said. All right, he said, "Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted." So if you've left the way, you can come back to the way. If you've never been in the way of Yahweh, then you can come to the way. All right. Yahweh tells us that we got to be like little children. All right. Or we shall not enter the kingdom of the Most High. And then for those who are working to bring people into the truth. Here's encouragement. James chapter 5, verse 19 and 20. Brethren, if any of you do error from the truth, and one convert him, let him know that he which converted the sinner. Remember, to sin means to not keep the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. All right, to do the opposite of what he instructed us. That is the biblical definition of sin. And the church, the pastors, they failed us. So we have to teach our people what sin is, and then teach the people how to not sin. All right. Let him know that one which converted the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins. Okay. So with that being said, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, bear each other's burdens, love your neighbor as yourself, man, and obey the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. That's all I got to say for now.
Call
right,
Shalom.
Shalom. Man. Shalom.
All right, man. So, Sister Shaya, any closing statements?
Shalom, y'all. Shalom. I was literally just saying good night in the chat because it's a little late for me tonight. But it was a great debate once again. For the third time. I'm just hopeful that people are tuning in and listening to how these debates are put together, how they're scheduled, and what works and what doesn't work, and are making the adaptation for future debates. So, hopefully each debate we're learning from the previous debate. But I think this debate went really well. Just to put it out there, I was all in for Karatazaya because I really thought that he brought the information out. Not that my vote matters, but I was all in. But I do appreciate the scholarship, and I do appreciate just the edification and everything being structured decently and in order. So the water for allowing me to be a part of it. So Kahala YAHAWASHI, I look forward to the next one.
Kahala the water Yahawah Shema MASHAYACH YAHAWASHI, all praise and glory, sister. I appreciate you, your hard work, your labor, staying up with us, helping us out, man. We really appreciate it here at the Source Debate League. All right. Before I give, first and foremost, man, I want to say congratulations to King Seth, man. All right. There are many arguments concerning on why we shouldn't debate, right? Or we're debating for truth's sake. There are many forms of debate, family. Many forms of debate. You have arguments or discussions that you might come across. You'll have a discussion, and you're able to interact and kind of engage in a debate. Then there's formal debate where you're kind of going back and forth. There's no real structure. Then there's scholastic debates, and that's what we do here at the Source. So even though you might be right, your faith might be correct. One thing I like about scholastic debates is that it's based upon the skill set of the individual. So for the brothers who have lost in this tournament thus far, you take this as a building block, right? And become better, become more efficient at the deliberation of the information, right? And take in considerations, historical merit, scientific merit, right? And chronography concerning the deliberation of the information, because that actually will help you for those in the judging seat that are not coming from a biblical persuasion, right? Who's not dealing with the faith of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So it's your responsibility as a believer, right, to present that information and know your audience. This is why we tell the judges at the beginning to give their understanding of what school of thought in which they come from, right? So we do this so you can have a certain appeal when it comes to certain rebuttals and certain information that you want to deliver. I believe that skill is required in scholastic debate and knowing your audience, right? There's a lot of comments that was being said. Somebody said I was arguing with the judges. Listen, it's my show. I don't give a damn. Ain't nothing you can do about it. If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. All right? Understand that, man. Right? James Cassell, my brother, I love you dearly. Whatever correction or reproof you brothers want to give me concerning my conduct, I will hear you. All right? I pray that brothers are not receiving my badgering of one of my beloved brothers, King Seth, because that's my brother, right? So my badgering of him or us going back and forth, this is how we get down at the source, man, right? So that's my brother, man. So I just want to congratulate him. Great job. And great job, Karate Zaya. King Seth, it's on you for the last closing statements, brother. Congratulations, brother.
Man, thank you, man. Boy, your boy throwed up out here, man.
Throwed up.
Hey, but anyway.
Throwed up, but not throwed up.
I'm throwed up out here, man. Boy, throwed up out here, man. But hey, it's cool, though. Be voted up tomorrow. But anything, I ain't got this belt
that
for
man
nothing.
Ain't the middleweight champion for nothing.
I ain't got this belt for nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, but like the brother said, man, that's my brother, man. These Hebrews that I bang with and I slang with over here every day. We might do these things, but you know, we love each other. And at the end of the day, Karate Zaya, that's my brother. I protect that man's family just like it was my own. I love that man like it was my own. That's why I ain't go in on him like that. That's why I ain't do all the slick talking in the fuck, because I respect him. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about around here. That's how we get down at the sword. And anybody watching, anybody seeing it, man, this belt was earned. I had to go through these brothers to get through this. You know how long it took me to go through these brothers to even be able to be on the platform with these brothers. I'm dealing with nothing but a lot of Hebrew Israelites. So this is foul. I love it. I love the judgment. I love how it came. I love the comments. I love everything about it. You know, like I said, man, I'm Texas Rattlesnake, man. You know, I'm the Black Stone Cold Steve Austin, man, with the rock swag. Real talk. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get down. Hey, but anyway, but like my brother said, we trying to make it cool to be smart again. And that's what I want to do. And Karate Zaya, I love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's back to back with me. I love you, bro. But I had to get you. It ain't nothing personal. You already know what it is with me and you. And I'm looking real forward to seeing my brother LV. I know he in the back chat lurking. I know he watching. I know all y'all watching. You know what I'm saying? It's good. I got you. Y'all see how I'm coming. Y'all see my presentation. Y'all see a little something. I hope y'all take notes. And that's all I'm going to say. I yield the flow. You dig?
Any last statements, Joshua, man? Heavyweight champion of the Source Debate League. Close us out, brother.
I just want to appreciate everybody that donated their time with us tonight. Dublin, Dunamis, the sister that was keeping the time, Elcon, the judges, the debaters. I just want to say we appreciate you because you can be doing anything else, but you came here and made this work. So,
hey, man, you judges did a great job, man. I love the scholastic breakdowns, man. That was wonderful.
Yeah. I want to tell King Seth something, but he won, so I'm gonna let it slide. Because he made a slick comment before the debate about the judging selection, but you see how people are, right? Anyway, I just want to say thanks to everybody that made this happen, man. I know y'all have families. I know you guys are busy. You got jobs, and it means a lot that you decide to donate your time and be a part of this. So I just want to let everybody know that.
Come, man. All praise and glory, man. Again, we appreciate y'all. We're going over to the Source. Matter of fact, we in the Precepticon rooms over there, man. Listen, man, you Source brothers don't get treated well this time, man. Please understand that. All right, come on, let's go build, man. After our show, man, on the clubhouse in the Precepticon room, man, y'all come build. And with that being said, man, Source Game, Elimination Chamber. We moving on.
Little motherfucker gonna try to rob me. Well, I'm gonna show you how we do it up here in Benton. No, I wasn't trying to rob. Shut up! Why I bust a cap up in you? Now who sent you? No.
Source up, we standing tall in your short stuff.
Yes.
Our lunch is the bullshit that you dressed up. Address us on scholarship, homie, knowing you messed up. So fessed up, you look for the best, knowing that that's us. Source up, we standing tall in your short stuff.
Yes.
Our lunch is the bullshit that you dressed up. Address us on scholarship, homie, knowing you messed up. So fessed up, you look for the best, knowing that that's us. Sword clown, know that it's over like it's the fourth down. We the source now. Hear a big bang with tanks on ground. More than the scrimmage, yeah, we forcing the Senate, yeah, we pushing no limit. Leave the fight with no blemish. You the hometown, but you not receiving no privilege. We gon' do you bad, rape, rob, and pillage. But we nothing like the white man. I can see that you a big fan. Every time we go live, I see you in the damn stands. Watching and plotting, I see that you stalking a bit.
Yes.
You laughing at people, they seeing you taking
Here's the definition of plagiarism. The practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and mixing them off as one's
Crazy ass nigga, we the source, yeah, we cite source. Spitting hot flames more hotter than hot sauce. For real? Drummy ass nigga,
We the source, yeah, we cite source. I guess they didn't believe us. Shout out to King Seth. We out of here.